Yeah. What is up, Panther fans? I tell you what's not up is a Carolina Panthers win at home on Monday Night Football. Instead, they fall 20-17, and really, I don't even know if that score is really reflective of how close the game was. The Panthers defense played very hard tonight. Panthers offense continues to struggle to find any rhythm, and already people calling for Frank Reich to turn over the play calls tonight. Bryce Young was not good. And really, nobody on this Panthers offense was all that good either. A lot of blame to go around to everybody, but not, and I hear myself in the background somewhere. A lot of blame to go around, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure out if the sky's falling, if the Carolina Panthers look like they'll be falling not only to 0-2, while the rest of the division, the Atlanta Falcons pulls to 2-0 this week. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers moved to 2-0 this week, and now the Saints are 1-0, and the Panthers' next 4-game stretch is ugly, very difficult. It is not impossible to see a world where the Panthers start this season 0-6, and that is not ideal for a team I was hoping to get to 500. My name is Tony Dunn. It's the C3 Panthers post-game show. It's the longest-running Panthers podcast. We're here on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. We've got a lot of content all throughout the week, but tonight, it's your opportunity to vent. It's your opportunity to sit on the couch and get a little therapy. It's your opportunity to control the conversation. We're the people's voice. And man, we need to start taking copays. CK, the voice that makes them moist. Welcome back.
Man, I'm listen, I just hate that the unveiling of our new intro has to be marred in this mediocrity. You know, it's just it's tough, man. It's one of those things that you want to be understanding. Like, it's first 2 games, it's Bryce Young looks, like he's a rookie and all that stuff. But one of the things, to Greg's point, is this isn't what we were sold, right? Like, this guy's supposed to be the guy who is making things like this look like, he's supposed to be the most ready to avoid these things. And here he is, he's out here and he's not elevating the team. I'm not here to say that it's all Bryce Young, right? And there's plenty of people in the chat that'll probably agree with me. It's not all Bryce Young, but Bryce Young sure wasn't helping.
He was not good tonight, and I think there's somebody, it looks like Mason Sally O is the guy that I was talking with. Twitter will address this, is whether this is hating or whether it's just fair to say that Bryce Young was not good until the last drive. How about, let's just put it that way, is his best plays tonight were run up the middle, which I think is going to hit a square on Mega Mingo as a 20-plus yard play. So we'll get that. We got Mega Mingo coming a little later in the show. Don't forget, we're going to be giving away a Jonathan Mingo jersey if we hit a Mega Mingo, and we filled out some squares. A Jonathan Mingo jersey could be on the horizon in the next couple of weeks. It is getting close, folks. That's going to be fun. But to get that jersey, you got to be a C3 super fan. And I mean, not every person's going to get a jersey. We're going to give it away to a random super fan for just $1.99 a month. You can support the C3 Panthers podcast. It's a small way for us to continue to grow our content and expand it. I want to go ahead and look at these people already in the house. Let me see. Starred. I need Cody. Where's Cody? Oh, he was at the game. Let's get Nervosh a big shout out here for a $10 super chat. The level of offensive ineptitude is totally unacceptable, especially after getting an offensive coach and trading all those assets for a number 1 pick. A lot to be talked about with that, and just how long we have waited to get an offensive minded head coach, and how difficult it has been for the Panthers to generate any sort of offense. Also, big shout out to Jay Thomas, $4.99 love bomb. This is completely fine. It's a waiting game this whole season. Bryce just needs some help, some playmakers. I think that's going to be part of it, but I also think that might be just a little too rose-colored glasses. Hey, it's okay if he isn't great from day one. To say he was good would just be factually incorrect, in my opinion. We'll chop all that up. The number's 252-228-5098. Get your calls. You can leave a message. We're trying to go one person per call. That's the goal right here. But we got Greg, the Bat Daddy, the guy that is right now cooler than Hayden Hurst.
Yeah, man. Look, honestly, right now, I have nothing to say for about 3 weeks. This is the time in the debate when I just kind of sit back and watch. We're going to let things roast because I'm not going to lie, man. I think Bryce Young is a good quarterback.
Yeah.
I think that Bryce Young is well capable of throwing for 800 yards and 6 touchdowns in the next 2 games. You know, I don't think with Carolina he can do that. I don't think Bryce Young was the best pick for Carolina. I'm not saying he's trash. I'm not saying he's bad. He may not have been the best pick for us. With Williams and Mays coming out next year, or May coming out next year.
Yeah.
And Marvin Harrison Jr., like I'm trying to think about what this offense would look like with Matt Corral, DJ Moore, and Marvin Harrison Jr.
It would look terrible. We would be getting the number 1 pick without having to trade for it.
I don't know. I'm just trying to think about that. And that's all speculation. And we're only 2 games in. I'm kind of going to sit back for a little while and see how things go. Everybody knows my hill, knows where I stand. So we're going to see what happens.
The number is 252-228-5098. I want to go ahead and remind you guys that the C3 Panthers postgame is brought to you by Caldera Labs. Caldera Labs is one of the leaders, if not the leader, in men's facial skincare products. With a twice-a-day regimen, you can prevent aging. You can look good like the Panthers defense. But if you don't use Caldera Labs, you can look old like some of maybe Thielen. Hey, I don't want to pick on the guy who produced the most. That's messed up. Maybe old, a little long in the tooth like Frank Reich. Maybe Frank Reich after tonight is going to have some deep wrinkles on his forehead, some frowny face developing here, some crow's feet at this point. He can help slow the aging process. Look good, feel good, play great. CalderaLabs.com/C3. You go to CalderaLab.com/C3. You get 20% off your first order. I've been using these products. I cannot rave about them enough. They truly work. Wow. They might not be discount products. You're going to want that 20%. So make sure you use that /C3, CalderaLab.com/C3 for that 20%. These products go a long way. I'm talking take that order, that package. It's going to last you a couple of months, if not more. CalderaLab.com, twice-a-day regimen. Men, take care of yourself. Look good, feel good. Don't let your lady outdo you alone. You got to keep up. You got to keep up. And as us middle-agers, we got to keep up because some of us, in fact, all 3 of these dudes on this podcast married beautiful women. We married up. We can't slow down. We got to keep up with them. CalderaLab.com/C3. All right, let's jump into the post-game show. Cody hopefully will be joining us because I need him to rock these comments here. I tell you that. He's so good and important to this show, not only his takes, but behind the scenes. The Carolina Panthers fall 20-17. Let's take a peek. And why are the stats no longer on the board here? Why are they on NFL.com? I guess I got to download the game book right now. All right, so let's talk about the first half. Carolina Panthers. Actually, I gave a halftime recap of the game, and I thought the Panthers defense has played much better than I expected them to be this season. The pass rush was there when you needed it. Jeremy Chin had a great game today. Von Bell had a great game today. Xavier Woods had a great game today. So the back end of that secondary really stepped up for a long time and bailed this offense out that could just not manufacture any points. They created turnovers. They gave short fields. They even stopped the Saints and held them to 3 several times when it looked like they were easily going to be or set up on the precipice of scoring touchdowns. But key injury tonight. Shaq Thompson goes down with what looks like a somewhat, I don't know if we'll say major, how we'll describe it. We'll be looking for details on just what that. He did not return. It was a shin injury. You see Shaq, the leader in the middle of that linebacker crew, but Kruger Hill, I thought he filled in well. Guys, your thoughts on the Panthers defense? Brian Burns, 1 sack. Well, they got 1 sack the entire defensive line sack. Derek Carr.
Go ahead, Greg.
Well, I would say that from this performance that the Panthers defense played well. I don't think they played phenomenal. They had some really good points. They had some really good moments.
They got tired, Greg.
But yeah, I mean, in the end, they just couldn't get it done. They held the team to 20 points. I think New Orleans offense is a mid-level offense in the NFL. I don't think they're the best, but I don't think they're the worst. I think they could have scored a lot more than 20 on us tonight. I think holding 20 is pretty good, but I just think that they couldn't hold it when they needed to at the end. But I feel like I'm not putting the loss on them.
Yeah.
So.
Oh no, they kept us in this game. I thought they played great. Sure, they let at the end. They finally just succumbed to some big plays, but at some time you can only get out there on the field, stay out there, and bend, not break, but for so long, it's just impossible for you to continue to bail this offense out. All we ever over and over this game right here. CK, the offense was put in a position to negate all of the problems that they had throughout the game. All of a sudden, you're down 3, you can tie it up instead, or you tie it up at 6. You could have taken the lead there going into the half. I thought that was a big problem for this team. A missed, in the words of Ron Rivera, a missed opportunity as you get the ball going into the half. I believe it was a short field. I have to go back.
Yeah, it was an interception by Von Bell that brought it back to the 37-yard line. And that was a strip sack that ended up giving the Saints the ball back. They didn't do anything with it, but that's certainly points left on the board. There was another short field that we had where we weren't able to convert. I mean, Eddie Pinheiro is the MVP of this entire team right now.
Yeah, kicking the deep ball.
Like we have a lot of there's some benefit to the, when we look at this defense, they held this team that's so highly people want to talk about how powerful of an offense they are. They held them to 6 points in the first half, right? Giving, that they weren't getting, they were getting a lot of benefit. Like this defense was down the field a lot, right? And they still held them to 6 points in the first half. That second half, there was just a lot of plays. Like Olave made an incredible catch.
And then the Shaheed, dude. I just wish it was.
And that was the same play they ran last week. They showed that on the pregame. That same play with the Sheik, the same exact play.
Right.
Oh,
and
I was so upset.
But so I'm not upset with this defense. And honestly, they fall. It's similar to what happened last week, right? There's only so much you can do when you see the difference in offensive plays that we ran versus the offensive plays that they ran. There's just you can't. The floodgates are bound to open, and that's just the reality of the situation. Bryce Young wasn't. Here's the thing: is and Greg talks about this. Bryce Young was brought in here to elevate talent that maybe wasn't necessarily considered elite, and he hasn't done that. Now he is a rookie, right? And
not yet, exactly.
And he has the there's the potential that he can do that. The thing I'm concerned about is he looked broken tonight.
Well, yeah, I think broken might be a little hard, but you could see
defeated.
Yeah. Is there was some frustration you could see worn on his face. I think too is I don't think he's playing with confidence right now. I think that's what it comes down to is that, and I think maybe that late game, if we could have just manufactured a touchdown drive a little bit earlier, I think it would have shrugged some of the failures off, right? Some of the things, and then all of a sudden you get rid of the ick, some of that. But the Carolina Panthers, Greg. Here, hit us with you're the stat daddy. Tell us Bryce Young's stats on the day and any other stats that are sticking out. I've got one that I'm going to feature in just one moment. Then we're going to get to your calls, guys. We're going to get to your calls early and often. So don't forget, call in 252-228-5098. Smash the thumbs up button, subscribe. We're cooking. Get us up to 300 views, bro. 300 viewers. We got 271 right now. Hit the share it. Let's go. Greg, what you got for us?
I guess the stats that stick out for me is Bryce Young, 22 for 33, 153 yards and 1 touchdown. Not terrible stats. I'm like it doesn't really look that bad, to be truly honest with you. That's 66%. 150
Was
yards and a
not like
touchdown.
that before the last drive, though, Greg.
Exactly.
That last drive, like
that's
Pat
what you gotta put in
changed
there.
those statistically, really changes this scenario. And people
not
could
that
say,
great.
"Oh, well, those stats count," but they're kind of garbage throwaway stats at the end.
A lot of them, yeah. And I will say that Miles Sanders didn't contribute much. 14 rushes, 43 yards, 3.1
Terrible.
average. Yeah, I mean, look, last game Bryce had the luxury of 150 plus yards from the running backs, which I feel like is a good thing to give to a rookie quarterback. But it was his first game. I feel like maybe if this game had that same
it just wasn't
stat,
working. Just
it may have helped him out a little bit.
Missing Brady Christensen, Cade Mays starting on the right side at right guard. They went about halfway through the game or 3/4 through the game. They switched him out and put in somebody that I didn't even remember his name. I hadn't even heard it before. I thought we would have seen not McCray. I thought you would have seen Nash Jensen was not active tonight, so you couldn't have seen him. So look, is that the Carolina Panthers could not run the ball at all in this game.
Right.
The very first run, very effective up the middle by Miles Sanders, or a good run. After that, they took it away completely. And I think that is the genesis for so many people that are being critical about Frank Reich's play calling. And you would think that he is going to have to either adjust better in game or from week to week, because it just wasn't there. I felt like this is why we brought in Bryce Young, to be the point guard, to be the distributor. And if that run game isn't there, it's 3rd and 3. Let's spread them out and let's pick it up in the air. Let's get Bryce moving out of the pocket a little, but still trying to throw the ball. It wasn't there. And it just felt like this is that the game went away and it just kind of slipped away until you were ready to make that. I wanted to see play after you ran the ball so much directly up the middle. I wanted to show run and play action on first down. Maybe it's just armchair quarterbacking. That's the easiest way to think about it, but it wasn't working. You think you got to go with it. Hey guys, let's go ahead and jump into a couple of calls and see what the fans want to talk about. And then we'll continue to work through the information of this game.
So what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty. You shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like.
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in his nose? Who's that kid that can use one?
What's up, C3? Man, this game got me bent up, bro. This don't make no sense. Like, always is just booty cheeks. Like, bro, they suck. I don't understand this. It's the same thing every year. Defense good, we get in sacks. O-line, just when it comes to blocking and not letting people touch Bryce Young and have him under pressure, it just never fails. It never fails at all. It just never fails. I'm like, oh my God, this don't make no sense. I just never heard. This don't make no sense to me. I mean, Bryce Young, he running everywhere trying to find people to get open. I mean,
I don't think he was keeping his eyes downfield well enough. Noah, though.
Like, I don't know. Oh no, this is just. Oh my God.
Look, Noah is level-headed too. Noah is level-headed. He doesn't he doesn't freak out. Last week he was like, "Hey, there's a lot to be. Don't worry, guys. This
sounds like he's freaking out,
disheveled.
He sounds
disheveled."
Yeah. But he brings up a good point, and we talked about the run game. This isn't a Miles Sanders issue. This offensive line was abysmal in the run game.
And last week they had such great push. This was an interior problem.
This seemed like
Zavala
an interior
on the
problem.
Left didn't help. It wasn't a great. Why did
I don't know if it was just him. I think it was. Well, it was because
injury, right?
Brady Christensen's out for the season.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So Zavala moved to the left because he was playing the right guard. They wanted to put Zavala at left guard because that's the position he's always played through college and everything. So, and that's the position he played next to Ike Ekwonu in NC State. So
for 5 games they were together.
Right. And so, but on the right side, they put Cade Mays. They replaced him in the middle of the game.
Earlier in the week, Thomas Brown in his press conference, I think they do the they usually do the coordinators on Wednesday. This week they did them a day later. He said that they were trying not to disrupt the rhythm, kind of like it's been working with Zavala on the right. No need to upset the apple cart. I almost wonder if they were trying to surprise him at some point. Hey, man, we got some more big super chats here. Thank you, Avery Stewart, $4.99. He says, just remember, y'all, Manning, Burrow, and Lawrence all look terrible in their first year. Don't panic. I was actually disappointed that last night Trevor Lawrence couldn't, or yesterday Trevor Lawrence couldn't find a way to pull out a win. That was a game that it's kind of like it should be his coming out party.
Right. Can I say that's on Ridley not catching balls?
Oh,
Trevor Lawrence put some dimes on Calvin Ridley, and he didn't catch those balls yesterday. I watched that game. He did not catch the balls that were thrown to him.
All right, let's man, the stats, crazy generosity here. $20 love bomb, man. Thank you so much. He says, need I remind you, a lot of you wanted this coach. You were convinced to get the O-minded coach. It was proclaimed we just needed to drop in a QB. When do I say I told you so? I don't know if we want I told you so's. I think what we are is disappointed so.
Here's the thing is I had created, there's still opportunity for this to not be what we deal with for the rest of the year, right? These are two tough opponents. Here's the thing, Derek Carr is a seasoned veteran. I don't think he's an elite quarterback, but when you pair him with the weapons that he has, this was without Alvin Kamara as well, by the way. But a defense like the Saints have, like we're the first, they didn't have a touchdown scored on them last week either, right? And they didn't have it this week until the garbage time. And so this is a legit defense. The Atlanta Falcons were a legit defense, and you saw that yesterday as well. Like we're not talking about Bryce Young and this offense going up against chumps. Right?
I hate to tell you though, it's not going to get easier. Hey, shout out to Mama Dunn. She says drink water, man. If the Panthers would win, I would. This is my only beer I've had today, Mom. So don't worry. If the Panthers would win, it would make it easier to drink water than drink alcohol at this point because this has been difficult. Go ahead, Greg.
Well, I was going to say the problem is, CK, is you're right. Like New Orleans and Atlanta may have legit defenses, but we're arguing that we have legit defenses too. And the problem is we're not producing on offense. So we can mask it any way we want to, but the bottom line is
I'm not masking it. I didn't say I'm masking
it. You're right. I'm not saying you are.
You are.
No, I'm not. I'm not. And
He's working through his thoughts.
I'm by far not saying Bryce Young is 1,000 or 100% to blame for all this, because he's not. He does shoulder some responsibility.
Equal amount.
Not the reason that we are sucking so bad.
I think he's
part of it. He could have. He hasn't been part of the solution.
Yeah.
He was not say solution.
No,
maybe we shouldn't be surprised by this.
I need to express something because there's people who are telling me that. Come on, CK, right? I did not say that this team is good because we face two good defenses, right?
You're right.
I'm saying we have a rookie quarterback facing two elite defenses that are in a position that made this offense look absolutely mediocre. I also will agree. I don't think that Bryce Young we should remove any blame from Bryce Young. I'm not saying that he deserves the entire weight of it. I think there's an equal thing to pass along. I think that coaching, I think play calling, I think offensive line play, I think our wide receivers have been less than exceptional. And Bryce Young himself didn't play well, right? I think he has equal blame in how this team performed. And I think he's going to take the entire blame when he goes on that press conference, as most quarterbacks do. But here's the thing. I'll express this. We talk about the Reich thing. I was saying from the get-go, if I gave you my list of people, I said Steve Wilks is who I wanted. Yep. And the reason I wanted Steve Wilks is because I expressly told you that when you look at the way the offensive-minded head coaches are going in the NFL, the only way you're counteracting that is with defense, right? And so all these people are starting to do this high-powered offense. Well, eventually you're going to start to see this trend of defensive head coaches start to really pull things out of to turn the page on this. And so I think that because the NFL is cyclical, right? This is how it goes. And so it's copycat league. When Ron Rivera was winning, everybody went and hired a defensive head coach. And then now that when other offensive-minded head coaches were winning, they went and hired offensive-minded head coaches. Right, we can't push the panic button, but we also can't not take this as we got to be concerned a little bit.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that is in a sense, if we're already talking about we hired the wrong coach, if we're already it's okay for Bryce Young to have a bad game. right? And I mean, and that doesn't mean that he is not going to be good down the road. I think it's okay for Frank Reich to not come out and have immediate success. I think the most troubling part about it is that Frank Reich has never had early success, right? Like if anything, and maybe we kind of inflated our expectations too much, but I think the most troubling part about it is that the Panthers started out with 2 division teams. The other teams are moving to 2-0. Oh, we just hit 300, baby. What's up, guys? Way to go, Panther fans. But two teams in the division are now moved to 2-0. You got the Falcons and the Bucks. We don't think the Bucks are legit, right? So it's not like, oh man, the division's getting run away with, but you are at the bottom of the division, and here are your next opponents on the road in Seattle, on at home against the Vikings, who, by the way, the Vikings, they don't have a good defense, but boy, they put up points, man. They have gone toe to toe with the Eagles. They squandered one at home against the Bucks. Then you got the Lions, whose defense is legit. You have a Dolphins offense who is going to be impossible to stop. Impossible. You think Chris Olave is a problem?
Yeah.
You think Shaheed is a problem? Wait until you meet Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Boy, there ain't no, you might as well just go ahead and write that out. So you're talking about the Panthers starting out potentially, which I think this is probably reasonably to say now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 0-6. And you're not talking to them until you get to the Texans, the Colts, and the Bears that you're going to be able to get a win, right, Greg? I know the Colts, like we'll see. But then you've got the damn Cowboys. Nope. Poor Bryce Young. You might as well. I would sit Bryce Young out.
Oh my gosh!
Just sit him out. Just sit him out.
Yeah,
Tony, we gotta get to these super chats.
Okay, yeah. Okay, what do we got? Oh man, these guys are piling in. Steve Hagler says, "Who did come in late at right guard?" Well, I'll look that up in just a sec.
It was the Saints guy from the Saints. I can't remember his name.
We got hold on, we'll pick it. We'll find Greg. If you could search for that, man, that would be great. Bryce, a rookie, he's not looking downfield. We bad on offense. Losing season incoming with no first round draft pick. I'm at the game. Detail $5 love bomb. Thank you so much. Packers better. Bryce a fraud. Bottom of division. Dylan. Whitemore.
By the way, the Shaq Thompsons believe to keep him out for the rest of the season.
Holy cow. Yeah. And you know what I'll be interested. I thought Cody, he'll be showing up here at some point. Look, Trucking Mongol says Bryce's rookie, calm down. I'm not overly concerned.
Calvin Throckmorton, by
Calvin
the way.
Throckmorton. Yep. I was about to say that's the guy. Yep.
Calvin Throckmorton. I'm not concerned. I'm not panicking about Bryce Young. And this is the thing. I think Bryce played better in week 1 than he played in week 2.
Yeah.
And despite the 2 picks, I know that you're going to go, oh, he had 2 picks. But today he had a fumble. He had a pick. He had a drop pick.
Did he have a pick?
No, did he? I thought
no, he should have had 2 picks.
Okay.
Excuse me, he could have had 2 picks.
Yeah, he had a drop pick that Adam Thielen threw him out. He had another fumble that was called back because of a defensive hold, and he was bailed out on. I think, hey, okay, he's under pressure, which people were saying, oh, he's under pressure. Look, the Panthers' offensive line was not great. It wasn't great, but there was some times he had time.
Yeah,
and
there were a lot of times he had time.
I think there was a 3rd and 3 play. He ended up scrambling and taking the wrong read and missing. I think Adam Thielen was open from the beginning. The overthrow to Mingo again, another overthrow.
But here's the thing that I would say too, is when you look at his performance, one of the things that we also were excited about from him is his accuracy and the short to intermediate. He wasn't accurate today in short to intermediate. Like even when there were people, like he got a couple of dimes and he had a couple of really good throws. The worst quarterbacks in the NFL can make a couple of good throws a game, right? He just did not look consistently like he was the Bryce Young that played in Alabama in his entire career.
I will say what I said to Anthony earlier, I believe Bryce Young is a good quarterback. I don't believe Bryce Young is the guy Carolina should have traded 2 picks and DJ Moore for.
Well,
Agreed. I just don't
that's
think he's
going to
that
be
guy.
it's going to be a long time before or a good bit before we can make that decision or like that I guess come to a resolution or whatever the word I'm looking for is. But I think that's going to be something people are going to be continuing that discussion is going to get louder and louder, Greg, particularly if the Panthers are on this trajectory of having a bad season with no first round pick next year. And you're starting to go, hey, and we were talking about this a little bit before coming on the show is now, and you know what? I think somebody asked Brian Burns about this in the press conference, and it was like, do you think about a midseason trade? And you're sitting here going, oh, is maybe if you're going to be terrible this year, maybe you want a first round pick next year, trading Bryce Burns. But if you, like CK said, tell him what's the challenge though. Even if you were to say, man, we're going to deal Brian Burns and try to make up some of those picks that we lost for acquiring Bryce Young, what is the problem? CK, you were the one that said it, so I'm giving you.
I mean, the problem is that you're gonna have to find a contender that's willing to trade for him. And what's the problem with that? You're gonna get a contender who's gonna give you a first round draft pick that's gonna be a 25 or 30 in the league.
And then you lose your best or second, or arguably your best player. I think people will say he's our best player. I think Derek Brown is making a case for being the Panthers' best player right now on defense.
Oh no, Frankie Louvu, dude.
He had a great game. Louvu was all over the place. But I think, too, is Louvu capitalizes based on some of the things that, like Louvu's sack was because of Brian Burns, who was in a headlock in that.
Well, he had 2 sacks.
Yeah, okay. D. Till, thank you again. He says, Bryce, a rookie. He's not looking downfield. Did I already read this one? Oh, I did. I think. Well, thank you again. Your generosity requires a second read. Bryce, a rookie. He's not looking downfield. We're bad on offense. Long season incoming with no first round draft pick. Let's go back. Noah had to say something else.
This is Noah again. And how do y'all let a quarterback, number 7, run on y'all for freaking, how do y'all let a quarterback run on y'all that much? This don't make no sense to me. Y'all know they about to run. Oh my, this thing just scored.
He's on the
my God. How do y'all let a quarterback run on y'all like this, and y'all know they about to run the ball? If I can tell they about to run the ball, I know surely y'all can they about to run the ball. Like, where's the man coverage at? This don't make no sense. We're quite number 23. What you doing? Like, oh my God, I can't be a Carolina Panthers fan no more. I can't.
This makes no sense. You see Taysom Hill come in there. You know what they're gurgle. You know what they're doing. Let's go to Jeff in Charlotte.
Yo, C3, what's up? It's Jeff from Charlotte. I just wanted to shout out the professor. He was my professor back in 2013.
Oh, nice.
As a freshman at ECU when you guys are doing the Panther halftime hangout to start off with. So I thought that's really cool. Been following it ever since. So shouts out to you guys. Thank goodness for our kicker. Offense really isn't looking great. I'm not ready to give up on Bryce yet, but something's got to change for offense. We're missing something, and I'd like to find out what it is. Thanks, guys. Keep pounding.
That's awesome. My man that's 10 years ago that he was a student of mine when I was teaching at ECU. Nice. And he referenced the halftime hangout, which was the first iteration of this show. And then I realized, wait a second, there's zero shelf life when it comes to the halftime hangout. So we got to do a podcast. Then we do a post game. Now we're taking calls later on. You know, when we first started this taking calls, I was so scared that we weren't going to have anybody calling in. And like, I was planting my friends and like, please call in, like staging calls. Now we could be here till 2:00 in the morning with all of these people. We got 335 viewers. Let's get to 400, baby. Let's go to the next call. And then we're bringing in Anthony Piccarello to defend his boy, and not defend. We don't have to defend, but boy, not a good game for Bryce Young today. Let's go to, and by the way, I hope the guy's still in the chat. Boy, he was moving the goalposts. I'm going to show he kept saying, I said this. Somebody put up a tweet and it said, Here is that, or is it bad because the receivers can't get separation? Is it bad because the offensive line isn't protecting? And they were like, let us know. I'm not watching the game right now. And I said, Bryce Young hasn't been good either. Those were the exact words. And then he put, he's not been bad. And I was like, yeah, arguably he has been bad to this point. And then he said, well, he's not been catastrophically bad. And I said, well, now you're moving the goalpost. I'm not shitting on the guy. But to say this is to excuse. It's okay to say he didn't have a great game today. So we'll have Anthony, who is one of his super fans. Remember, you could be a C3 super fan for $1.99. We'll have his thoughts on it. Let's take this next call.
Hey, man, I know it's a little early to call in. It's Lou from Fort Myers. And I already thrown in the towel. It's 20-9 right now. Man, this play calling dog water. Doo-doo garbage, whatever you want to call it.
I've been learning a lot of doo-doo acronyms or synonyms.
Grab it. That's what our play calling was. Some hot shit, some dog water. Couldn't even score a fucking touchdown. 3 minutes left. I don't give a fuck. Whole game, we couldn't score a touchdown. CJ Henderson, off the team, please. Dante Jackson, you've been in this league for too long to fall for that weak double move. Come on, man. The only person that played good on our defense was Xavier Woods. And did anybody else feel excited when Andy Dalton came into the game? Because I thought finally maybe Andy Dalton, I say it like this, with Andy Dalton, fuck it, it's a 50-50 ball. He'll throw it up there. It'll either be an interception or a touchdown, and I'm fine with that. But Bryce Young, 2 fumbles. He don't know when to throw the ball. Eyes always looking downfield. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah. I mean, it's legitimate.
I may be
he
calling
didn't look
it
downfield.
early, but Bryce Young giving me Zach Wilson vibes. And I know I sound like a hater.
I said the same thing today.
Hear me out, bro. Hear me out. He's not getting the time to develop. They need to put Andy Dalton to play. And while he can understand the NFL better, because it's a huge jump from college to the NFL. I'm not saying Bryce Young some complete buns. I'm saying like at least save this man's career, because we kind of doing what the Jets did to Zach Wilson, and look how he panned out.
I disagree. You gotta learn on the job. Gotta learn on the job.
And I don't want that happening to Bryce Young.
Well,
man. Oh, one last thing. Steve Wilkes would never. That's all I gotta say. Steve Wilkes would never.
Oh gosh.
Hear me out, man.
No.
Yeah.
Steve Wilkes would have won them 2 divisional games.
True.
Frank Reich had all this off season. Steve Wilkes did it right when Matt Rule got fired. He came in hot seat and did his thing. Almost took us to the playoffs. Steve Wilkes would never. That's all I gotta say. I was upset. Not upset when we hired Reich, but I'm just saying I thought we should have kept the interim coach. I've been saying this. People been no, Reich good. They say the same thing about Rule. I'm not trusting it, bro. I'm not trusting it. Y'all could call me superstitious all y'all want, but I'm not trusting it. No, sir. But yeah, that's the last thing I say.
Thanks a lot for the call. A lot of people supporting your take here. I disagree with the let's put Andy in. I think that Bryce Young is capable. I think he's shown the mental aptitude to be ready. I don't think him necessarily sitting is going to do that much, other than saying this, is that it would really suck for him to get destroyed and killed and physically destroyed before he had an opportunity to thrive and succeed. So if learning on the job is put a detriment to his health in the long-term investment, then I'll understand that argument. I don't necessarily think Andy Dalton, sure, he might in the short term have helped you win this game. I don't know if he puts you in a better position overall as a team. Anthony Piccarello, hopefully you're there.
I am here.
Bryce Young, not a great game for Bryce tonight.
Absolutely not, man. I was texting Greg during the game. Well, first off, I bet Cody's out having a little fun right now. I was supposed to go over to his house, but he's probably
he'll be here.
Yeah, he'll be here. Yeah, man, it was not a good game. As one of the biggest Bryce Young defenders, I cannot defend him at this moment. He didn't play good, and
yeah, and that's fine. You know, it's okay to say that. It doesn't mean we
yeah,
don't think he's
and
going
I'm
to be a
not
good
giving
player.
up on him. Like, he's still going to be here for at least probably two or three seasons, I would think. I mean, listen, you guys know based on my calls what my concerns about this team have been throughout the whole offseason. I said the wide receiver core, I wasn't that high on them. I think the defense has a couple holes. I just think we have to really build something. I think it's going to take some time to, get Bryce help. Like, I don't think we can look at this and say, okay, well, Bryce Young is trash, get him out of here. I mean, hey, maybe if he had, a solid receiver, maybe he would look better. I think the biggest thing to take away from this is that we definitely need to see what Thomas Brown has. There's been some things floating out on Twitter that, Reich has been like, he gets his offensive input from a lot of people, but I think that's the problem. I think we don't need that many cooks in the kitchen.
Right.
I think that's kind of why you brought Thomas Brown in here, because he came from the McVay offense. And if you guys watched any of their 2 Rams games, there's a guy named Puka Nakua that has been
whoever the
getting
fuck
open.
this guy is, he's like the next Cooper Cup, basically.
Like,
a 4th rounder who has set the record for the most catches by a rookie in 2 games.
Absolutely, yeah, and like Tutu Atwell. So I think there's ways.
Dimes though. Sorry.
Yeah, for sure. I think there is ways for this offense to get better, but again, I just don't know how it's going to fare with this schedule we have coming up. I really don't. And I just want to say, the Saints aren't that good of a team, man. Like, Derek Carr didn't look good at all. Derek Carr didn't look good at all to me. Yeah, it's frustrating, man. It really is. But
let me ask you this: why do you think that? Do you see what I see, and that is that Bryce Young isn't playing with confidence at this moment?
Yes, I agree with that, and it's crazy because I never saw him flustered when he was at Alabama. I mean, I think that was one of his things, was his mental trait. I also think that we haven't. I don't know. I just feel like we haven't really tried to establish a serious running game. I just feel like Miles Sanders has been a little underwhelming than what people thought he might have been coming into the season. I would have liked to see Chuba Hubbard get more handoffs because he was great last game. And then the last main point I'll say is, where was Hayden Hurst? It feels like he wasn't incorporated into the offense at all. I think it's just going to take time, man. I do want to say this, my last point. If we are 0-5, 0-6, what Tony alluded to a couple minutes ago, I think you got to start like taking phone calls for some of these players, because if we want to get this team better, we do need draft picks. That's what it's going to come down to. I really think that. But yeah, Greg knows. Like, I texted him during the game. I'm not, scared of seeing the reality. Bryce didn't play good. I'm not just going to sit here and make excuses for him. But I also think that we do need to help him 100%.
Sure. He left a lot of plays on the field, though, today. I think he wasn't looking downfield like we typically see him. Even when these off-structure plays that we've been told what he's been so great at, he almost looked like he didn't know what to do in those moments. Like, it was like, do I run? Do I throw? Do I, just lack of decisiveness. And I feel like this is him. I think his confidence was shook tonight. I think that the big stage, the Monday night game, the struggles early on, it hasn't just gone easy. And that's okay, right? I'm not saying that like, hey, is that this is, again, I think that this guy, first, he's our dude. He's going to be our dude for 3 years. And if you don't make him that, then you really have to have some red flags that tell you that you need to move on. Like maybe like the Jets were doing with Zach Wilson. But I don't think we are anywhere close to even thinking about that. And I don't think we'll be thinking about that until the end of next year at the very earliest. But I was disappointed that he isn't playing with confidence, that he isn't not taking shots, but pushing the ball in those moments. It is a hesitation that I see that he was playing. And I think the Panthers did try to commit to the run a little bit too much tonight. And maybe what you have to do when you're not running the ball, you have to schematically run the ball. And you do what the Falcons did last week, is that if you're not handing it off, you're throwing some screens, some running back screens, you're letting the blitz come in, you're letting the defenders in, and getting those guys involved. But it was just like this. We're going to run it between the tackles. We're going to try to keep them honest. And it wasn't working. And I thought that, man, tonight, the voices of people saying that Thomas Brown, I thought last week it was premature. I thought it was premature to say last week that, man, Frank Reich isn't calling a great game. I thought he had one bad play call. I thought he made a good decision on fourth and whatever it was. It was the play call that stunk. I thought tonight is that he didn't, I don't think, adapt. He didn't adapt in the middle of in the game when things weren't working. So those voices, I think, will get louder. The number's 252-228-5098. Let's go to the next call.
Podcast brothers, how y'all doing? It's G Cavassier. Hey, man, I'm sitting here watching this damn game. Man, how we let this game? How the fuck we lose this game? Defense is playing good, man. The linebackers are on point. Shaq Thompson went out, man, and that dude that we picked up from the damn Texans got that damn sack. I'm telling you, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm rooting for damn Bryce Young, but he's not ready, man. I'm going to be the first Panther fan to say this. Put Andy Dalton in.
Not the first Panther fan to say it.
Because this is my worst fear. We keep fucking losing, and by like game fucking like 8, they put Andy Dalton in, and he'll start winning to some shit, and it's going to be too daggone late. I just got that damn feeling. But Bryce, you know what I'm saying? I was rooting for daggone Bryce and everything, but you could see the look on his face. That boy is not ready, man. He is not ready at all, man. This dude, he can throw deep pretty good. He doesn't have the cannon. He can throw deep pretty good, you know, but he is, to me, he doesn't look like he is fucking there. To me, he's not fucking ready, which I can get it because he's a goddamn rookie. I'm saying it right now. I'll be the only fan to say this shit. Put Andy Dalton in there. Give me your thoughts on that, y'all. Keep pounding.
At what point do you say that Bryce Young needs development? I don't think that's the right strategy unless if you're worried about his physical well-being. Yeah. I thought tonight that and Greg, you sent us a message. You said, "Oh man," and you were talking about taking Bryce Young out on the 4th and 1
for the 4th and 1. That looks bad.
I think it's fine
really
actually.
It's
like you don't need
bad.
You don't need any intangible skill to run a quarterback sneak, and Andy Dalton's a big dude.
So why shouldn't your elite quarterback you just drafted and traded 2 picks and DJ Moore for be able to do that?
Because he's 5'10" and not big, and
that's what I'm saying. That's why it looks bad. It looks bad.
But
they
like
took
that's
him out
like
because
saying
he's not a big guy.
That when they put Taysom Hill in, that's a referendum on Derek Carr. No, I think you're just appealing to somebody's skill set at that point.
Can we talk about that for
what I'm saying?
Go ahead, Greg. Go ahead.
Okay. What I'm saying is, I agree that I think Bryce Young's a good quarterback, but the fact that you took him out when it was a 4th and 1, and this is your franchise guy for the future, like, so you're telling me that when Andy Dalton's not here in 2 years, that you're going to take the backup quarterback and put him in when Bryce Young's supposed to be the guy and have them do a quarterback sneak? No. If you're scared of him getting hurt at 5'9", 10, whatever he is, then you shouldn't have drafted him. If you drafted him at that, then run him in that quarterback sneak. Period.
Would it be if you were the Saints and you were in the same position, would you be upset that they took Derek Carr out and put Taysom Hill in that play? I think it gives you an advantage. I think Taysom Hill gives you an advantage.
That's a different story, though. You're putting different things in there.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's valid because here's the thing.
It's valid. You're right, but it's a different story. It's not the same thing.
Let's take a look at it from the perspective of let's talk about his height, right? His height is not. That's going to be a disadvantage when you're talking about needing to take a lunge to get an extra yard or two. So to your point, Greg, that's accurate. But why not go ahead and if he has everything else that you want out of him, and the only drawback is what you believe is like the only thing that the coaching staff is saying that he can't do is a quarterback sneak, I'm fine with that. Like, we're gonna have a backup quarterback.
Don't want to risk it at that moment, right? It's not like he's never gonna do a quarterback sneak. I said this. I was screaming Wildcat on that play. Yeah. Bring in an extra blocker. People were talking about the push, which is impossible to start. I didn't know you could push players ahead.
You're not supposed to. It's just they don't call anything on it normally.
Okay.
The thing is, I don't think it's terrible that they did that. I think it looks bad right now, especially with the way Bryce was playing. Where if you can get Bryce to get that first down, that's should jolt the offense right there. With Taysom Hill, it's a little different because Taysom Hill is there to be that guy. Like that's what he is there for, is to be that guy. The Swiss Army knife.
I
If
think
he
it
doesn't
would have
run
been
it, he can
awesome
pass
to
it.
put Dalton
Like,
in and
so-
take a deep shot when everybody's thinking, or a
and
shot
Taysom
over
can do that. That's why you put Taysom Hill in that position. I just feel like it's not terrible, but it doesn't look good. That in 4th and 1,
See, it
when
doesn't
you
bother
need
me.
the yards, and this is the guy you drafted to be the future of your franchise, you're not putting it in his hands.
Go ahead, Anthony.
I do want to say I agree with everything you said, Greg. I also think that's kind of why a lot of people were calling for Cam to come back just as that kind of Taysom Hill role, because he would be able to get you all those short yarded situations. I do want to say, I mean, I am happy that at least Bryce Young has come out of the first 2 games healthy.
Yeah.
He's taken some shots. So I don't think we should be as concerned with his frame anymore. I do want to say one caller said this earlier. They said Xavier Woods wasn't the only good player on defense. I thought Frankie Louvu had an awesome game. 2 sacks. I thought he played.
Jeremy Chin made 2 great plays. Von Bell made some good plays.
Yeah.
Xavier Woods did make 2 incredible plays in the end zone. That's why people are saying he was great. But you're right. Frankie Louvu was a beast. I thought that, hey, the whole defensive front, I thought, was putting pressure on them when they needed it to be. In fact, they were, I don't know, maybe this is actually a good stat for them, is for the Saints, is they were 7 for 16 on 3rd down, guys. Here's the issue. We were 4 for 14 on 3rd down, guys. You can't win. You can't win when you can't extend drives. And we just could not extend a drive here. And I want to address this is where Kev says he's flustered because he isn't making the throws he knows he should be making.
Yeah.
And that is the truth, is this is a confidence issue at this point where he's not playing loose. He's second guessing himself. I think to the degree that he is either scared to make the throw sometimes or pushing it too hard. Like I think every deep shot, it's like, oh shit, I see it open. And then it's 5 yards ahead. Right? It's like it's the right read, it's the right time. He's just not playing loose. And I think this is what happens. And that this goes to what Greg was saying with the don't crown these people right ahead of time, is the leap to the NFL. Welcome to the NFL. Even the best of the best are like, oh shit, this is the real deal. Let's go to the next call.
All right. I didn't get to finish my message, but it's Lou from Fort Myers back at it again. You know what I mean? But let me just say one thing. I'm going to just make this one dedicated to the play calling. Steve Wilkes, right? Not Steve Wilkes. I'm at Frank Reich. Would y'all rather have us go 3-0 undefeated in preseason and have us lose these first 2 games, or have us lose all preseason and have us win these 2 divisional games? But guess what? We didn't get none of them because you know why? We're keeping it vanilla, this and that. This man play calling has been nothing but screens. Adam Thielen, the slowest receiver we got, has been screens too. That's like giving Ian Thomas a screen, bro. What are we doing? Right? What are we doing? I have yet to see Wildcat. Any misdirections, flea flickers, talking about keeping it vanilla, Chenault, DJ Chark finally get in there, throws a deep ball, PI called, whatever. Come on, bro. I'm thinking we're running some double back, some pistol formation. We can have Chuba Hubbard both in the backfield. What is this play calling? Fourth quarter, they come down over like, oh, we got to get in the red zone, this and that. Man, honestly, if we down and it's 4th and 1, I want my head coach to say, fuck it, I got enough trust in my quarterback to go get us 1 fucking yard. 1 fucking yard.
I agree.
Put me in, I get you 3 feet. Put me in, I get you a yard. Because golly, bro. God. Come on now. This play calling has been absolutely buns. No deep shots. First, if you want to get – first, we could at least establish the run game. We did not establish the run game until, like, what, third quarter?
I don't think we ever established it.
One more quick note. I don't like praying on nobody's downfall, but I'm glad that Kamu Grugier-Hill stepped up. I'm glad he stepped up. I said this last week. Shaq Thompson was too slow. He getting too old. It's time to say goodbye. And I'm feeling the same way about C.J. Henderson and Dante Jackson. Time to say adios. See you later. See you in Cancun. Cancun on 3. But back on the play calling. Yeah, man, it was just dog water, man. Listen, my high school had better plays than this. It was dog water, man. Y'all have a good night. I called in early because I know I got to go to sleep, wake up early for work, but I'll listen to y'all podcast at work. Y'all stay blessed. Have a good night.
Go ahead, Ant.
Man, keep having.
You wanted to talk about the Shaq Thompson Kruger.
Yes.
Hill.
Okay. So I did notice that when Shaq was out of the game, the defense was playing faster. The defense was able to get to the line of scrimmage quicker. They were getting in the backfield a lot. I think Shaq's a good player for his leadership and the things he's brought to this team over the years.
He's had a good 3 years in a row too.
Yes. And think about it. He's going to be like 29, 30 soon. Like that Grugier Hill guy, I mean, he stepped up and played a great role. So I think maybe we have more depth at the linebacker position than we thought.
Yeah, Deion Jones waiting there in the wings potentially to pull. I like the Kruger Hill had a great camp, right? He had a great camp, and it was just nice to see this. Is like you were worried is that what happens without Shaq, and Cody had a great tweet from the game, and hopefully he'll be joining us at some point. He said, now we get to really see how important Shaq is to the defense. And, is that in the leadership, but it was nice to see them fill that void, man. Big time shout out to Steve Hagler, $9.99 love bomb to the show. Thank you so much for your monetary support. Well, at least it's not Bryce that got hurt. We get Austin back soon, which hopefully will shore up pass blocking and have high hopes for Savala on the left side and likely better pass blocker than Brady. You know what is I don't think we want Corbett back. We want Corbett. We're going to need him. Savala didn't have a fantastic game today. He had a false start. He had but I see where you're going with this, but no need to dump on Brady Christensen, who actually was pretty dang good for this squad for a while. And a lot of people, so maybe he will be better. Maybe he will, but it is nice. We're going to be happy when Corbett comes back. Thank you to the Stats, who says, listen to the Reich interview. It's bad. He's a stubborn old man, and he will be the demise for as long as he holds that mentality of play calling. We might have to pull that up in a second. Guys, thank you so much for your support. There are 327 people watching. Smash the thumbs up button. Subscribe. Guys, do not forget, we're about to play Mega Mingo. Guys, we're about to play Mega Mingo. We might not be giving away a jersey tonight, but we are itching. We are getting really close. The jersey is going to happen. Could happen next week, folks. I thought it might, in one world, even happen tonight. But don't forget, tonight's show is also sponsored by Manscaped. Manscaped is the premier men's grooming tool. I'm telling you this, they've sponsored this show for 3 or 4 years now running in football season, and each year they send us a beautiful package. Now they've got a beard hedger, Greg, they can hedge that big, wonderful beard that is made for you. I know a lot of people use the bald thing to use their to do the beard because it's got all the attachments and different things. But Manscaped, go to manscaped.com, use the promo code Panthers. You get 20% off your purchase plus free shipping. Manscaped.com, promo code Panthers. You got to do that. Help us support. Look, they're coming back because you help us. You support our sponsors. That helps our show. The Manscaped products, whether it be the beard hedger, whether it's the lawnmower 4.0, but I think there are other great products to talk about when it comes to Manscaped, whether it be that wonderful toiletry bag that we all love so much, a beautiful leather bag that comes where you get all of these products in them. You get the ball deodorant. You get the crop refresher. So, guys, you've been walking around this and that. You're going to go out and you don't have time to take a shower. Spritz your ball sack. But nobody wants an Afro puff. You don't want to pull your pants down in front of a woman, or maybe it's not a woman, but whoever you're pulling your pants down in front of. And you don't want it to look like a little bird perched up on a nest. You want it to look clean and confident. You want to be decisive, and you can be decisive if you take care of yourself with Manscaped products. The promo code is Panthers. Go to manscaped.com. Make sure you use that promo code Panthers. You get 20% off plus free shipping, guys. Take care of yourself, man, from head to toe. Do it, fellas. Guys, I did want to, what we were going to talk about next, we'll take, Mega Mingo. Let's play Mega Mingo super quick. Super quick, guys. The way Mega Mingo works is this. Pull it up here. Let's see. Window. All right. So Mega Mingo works like this. If you're a C3 super fan, I gotta take this comment off. If you're a C3 super fan, for $1.99 a month, you can support the C3 Panthers podcast. So many people are doing it. We're over 150 C3 super fans. Let's get that to 200. Let's get that to 300. But we are giving back to you guys with that money that you're putting in. This is the Mingo card, the Mega Mingo card, which we're going to be keeping all season long. And when it hits a bingo, or a Mingo, we call 5 in a row, either straight across, vertical, horizontal, or diagonally, you even get a free square here. We're going to give one of the C3 super fans a Jonathan Mingo jersey. On top of that, we're going to clear the card. I'll probably make a new card and we'll start it over again. The card carries over. So all these X's that you are seeing right now are from last week. Let's figure out what we got this week. Hey, I tell you, this is, we got a 20+ yard play.
You got a touchdown.
We got that because, hold on, I got to make sure I get Bryce Young scramble was over 20 yards, I'm pretty sure. Greg, check that stat.
It was 25.
It was 25. All right. Okay. So we do not get a win versus the Saints. We do not get a multi-passing touchdown, right? Only one game.
Nope.
Here.
Yeah, he's only one.
Guess what we got here, though?
We got that. Yep.
We got a successful challenge right here. Look at this. Here's your Mega Mingo coming right here. Straight down here.
I don't know.
It's going to be happening soon, folks. Did we have a rushing touchdown tonight?
No.
Did we have a special teams touchdown? No. You're not going to get this square, folks. We got a defensive interception, though.
Yes, we did.
We got two of them. We got a
Thielen touchdown.
We got a Thielen touchdown and a 2-point conversion for him. No road win. No win versus Falcons. Defensive score. No. Sanders touchdown. No. Mingo touchdown. No.
50-yard field goal. Eddie hit 2, I think.
Yes. Here we go.
Yep.
Look at this. Look at this, guys. You better get in $1. You can't win the Mega Mingo unless you are a C3 super fan. We did not have a fumble recovery, though. We didn't have a 100-yard receiver. We didn't have a 100-yard rusher. We didn't have a defensive score. Guys, there's opportunity. I like this straight down here. This is going to win.
Yeah. Yeah, we need a road win, a win versus Falcons, a Mingo touchdown, a fumble recovery, or a 100-yard rusher, and we're giving a Mingo jersey away.
Can't wait.
2 of those 6.
It's gonna be great.
Yep.
C3 super fan, $1.99 a month. We are continuing to bring you as much content and give back to you as much as possible. Steve Hagler, let's hit this up. He said another $4.99, overly generous, but thank you so much. I meant to say run blocker for Savala, better run blocker for Savala. And then white chocolate espresso. Kev says Bryce was ass again, needs to sit a year. Is that going too far? Who does it? Who knows? I'm not sure. Let me see. Let's take a call and then I'll read these private chats. But we're not private chats, but try to keep up. I'm trying to run the show, do the show, be the producer. Let's see. Cody Lashney also texted me. Let's see what he says.
Gentlemen, Daniel here. Been a while since I called. I've been on the.
Cody is not coming now. He's out getting fucked up. He said, "I'm out getting fucked up." Somebody said it. You know what? Somebody said it that he was at the cabaret.
Anthony.
Did you that he was at the No, somebody in the chat said he was at the Uptown Cabaret, the strip bar.
No, I was supposed to go over to his house to hang out with him, and I just assumed he was getting at a bar or something because he didn't answer any of my texts. But dude, let him have his fun, man. He's just probably
he worked so hard. He worked so hard, and hopefully didn't get moon burnt tonight. Let's go. Let's get back to this call.
Gentlemen, Daniel here. Been a while since I called. I've been on the Friday free-for-all here and there, but oh my God, gentlemen, we suck. We suck. I cannot believe this. I mean, I understand having, growing pains and all of this, but my God, This is nuts, man. I cannot. I've always been trying to. I've always tried being even keeled. But man, this is depressive. I just cannot believe this. This is nuts. I cannot understand this play calling is trash. Offensive play calling is trash. Defensive play calling, I'm all for it. But even that, I mean, where's Burns? Where are these people that want to pay Burns $30 million or all this? I'm sorry. I mean, I'm all for him for paying him and all, but you know what he's worth, and he's not worth 30 million. I'm sorry, he's just not. He's not. You know, and I cannot believe this. It's a long season, gentlemen. It's God help us.
Mm-hmm.
Keep pounding.
C3 Faithful here. Kristen Ledane says, my fiance says Carolina will always be rebuilding. Well, guess what, Kristen? You get to tell him he's wrong, and he's going to be wrong for the rest of his life when he is married. Don't worry. It doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. You turn out to be wrong, man. But he's wrong because we don't ever rebuild.
Right.
You know, is that like last year was the complete opportunity to trade Brian Burns away to rebuild. And instead we brought in Wilkes, who of course is going to coach to try to get a job. Of course, these players are going to play to get their money and to get signed. When you are trying to rebuild, it comes at an institutional level, like at the team level. And we didn't do that. And again, you know what? We've kind of been suckered into, again, this idea that we are ready for us to be pretty good. And Anthony has been saying it's time for a rebuild. You got to rebuild. And, you know, how that happens, we don't know. We'll have to see if there's a way to do it at this point. Who are the players you ship away? Maybe that's Frankie Louvu. I hate to say that. Maybe it's Jeremy Chin. It's guys that are looking towards contracts that you potentially are not going to be able to afford, and that getting capital for them right now would be better.
Well, can I say that they showed a stat at the beginning of the game for Brian Burns, and they went all the way back to 2018, which is 5 years ago, and they said in 5 years he's had the 11th most sacks in 5 years. So they had to go back 5 years to be able to pull that stat. I'm sure if they went in 2019, he wouldn't be in the top 11. But they went back 5 years, and he still wasn't top 10. I love Brian Burns. I think he's a great player.
We need to.
He's not ever played top 10, consistent top 10 play to get that money. And that stat right there shows they had to go back 5 years, and he still wasn't top 10.
But that's also a bit misleading. You know, he's had his best years the past 2 years.
He's had good years.
Every year he's gotten
bad
more
years
sacks.
The first 3.
I think going back 5 years is a good testament, Greg, because it shows one of his strengths, which is availability, that he's played every year.
Okay, that's a fair argument.
And that's even going back
right too. You know,
that's going back to his first year too. That's going back to his rookie season when he was being sat and playing special teams because Ron Rivera didn't want to give anybody something that they didn't earn. Remember how frustrated we were?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, CK, what I'm saying is, if he's that guy that you're going to pay top 3, you don't go back 5 years. You go back the last 2 years, and you see that he's top 3. But if you go back the last 2 years, he's not going to be a top 3 guy. He may not even be a top 10 guy.
Maybe
that's why they went back 5.
Maybe the last 2 years would help him. Anthony, you went in on this.
Yeah. No. So I think I called in a bunch last season, and I would say Brian Burns did good this game. He didn't show up this game, and today was one of the games where he didn't show up.
Right.
He didn't show up.
Few good plays.
He's a great player, dude, but I just don't think that he's top 5. Now, listen, they have to make a decision on him soon because someone said it. What if he just, decides he doesn't want to play here anymore? You either got to pay him, you either have to pay him, or you have to trade him at this point. He's a great player. He's probably the best player on our team. I just was expecting a little more from him because this is a contract year for him this year. I was just expecting a little more this game. I mean, I thought we got
I would
pressure.
disagree that he didn't show up. I would say this is that I've seen visibly him make a difference on this defense. And a lot of times it's come early in these games, but he's go back
in the past 2 years.
Ninth
in
sacks
the past 2 years.
over 2. Yeah. So he barely's kissing the top 10. But last year was his best year. And I think he's on pace right now to have his best year this year. He's been disruptive. But if teams are not getting into passing downs, how can your specialist pass rusher really stand out?
Sure.
And so I would say he's been fine throughout these games. I did see him kind of come up a little lame, or at least be favoring one of the legs. So you got to be interested is like how much. I mean, he said, I'm not going to be talking about, he's going to get paid now, folks. He's trying to get 15 sacks and get 34 million next year.
Yeah. Well, Tony, let me ask you, if we are 0-5 or 0-6 and we can get back in the first round next year for Brian Burns, are you doing it?
I think you're going to have to start thinking about it.
I think you really do.
I think you really,
I love
especially
Brian Burns.
if you're, especially if you're really concerned as an organization of getting, of kind of falling for an overpay a little bit, is that if they're not willing to pay him 28 or 30, that means they think that like, hey, he's a really good player. We want him on our team, but we just don't want to shop hungry, as Dave Gettleman would say. And if you really in the back of your mind have a concern about him being a potential overpay, then I think it would be foolish not to consider the idea. But then CK brings it this is, are you getting a 27th pick? But you know what? A 27th pick, somebody said we're not picking until the 184th pick next year. I don't know if that's true or not, but God knows we are going to be talk about the most boring in Panthers draft party. Do we even have it? Yeah. I think we.
Wait, real quick before we go to the next call, I want to share what Anthony gave me right here. It's a tweet from Frank Reich. Let me share this. I'm not as good as Cody.
Is this a press conference?
It's from it. It's from the press conference.
Let's hear a little clip, hopefully.
Well, it's not even a clip. It's just a tweet. So Panthers head coach Frank Reich says he's seen this before and that the Panthers are not that far away.
Okay.
So based on that, do y'all think this is coach talk, or do you really think we're not that far away?
I think it's coach talk.
Totally.
I
don't be 0-6, bro.
Yes. Yeah. Like you can't tell me like with a straight face, this roster is only a couple pieces away. Like, I mean, I've been saying it like, all offseason. I think we have great players. I just think it's going to take some time. And I think that's one thing about our fan base is we don't want to take time. We've taken a lot of time already.
We've been waiting a long time. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. And I think that kind of goes back to this whole Bryce thing. Like, listen, I was high on Bryce as a prospect. I'm still happy we drafted him. I also think that people got overhyped by him because it's not Sam Darnold and he's a first overall pick. And there's real optimism to be excited. I think if this coaching staff can get it together, I mean, I think we can win some games, but at the same time, I think that's a coach talk tweet.
Yeah, I mean, and you know what? He is right in one hand is we're not that far away from winning a game. Right. I mean, you're a couple of plays last week. Last week, I think, was a far more winnable game this year. I don't think you were close tonight until you could manufacture some sort of offense. Right. I think the end score is misleading about how in this game the Panthers were. Now, at any moment, they could have gotten back in the game. Right. Until that end play against Shaheed. Right. It wasn't until they pulled ahead by you really were going to have to stop them. And actually, let me ask you guys this do you think kicking the field goal was the right decision with 6 minutes left? It was, I think, 4th and 3, maybe. I think we ended up having to kick a 54-yard, which kind of put Panera on while he had been hitting it.
That was his career long.
Right. And it pulled you within 4 points. So I think and I was going to tweet about this is I don't get why you do that. I think that the rationale is that you are going to pull within 4 points and hope to keep their offense to a field goal.
Yes.
And then so you're going to have to score a touchdown regardless on the next
field goal or
possession.
less.
Right.
No matter what, your next possession was going to require a touchdown regardless.
Unless you scored a touchdown there.
Well, I mean,
I think you go for it. I think we should have gone for it on every field goal tonight. I think you play to win, not to lose.
Well,
especially when they weren't putting up any points, like the Saints really weren't doing anything.
Yeah, one touchdown all of a sudden puts them in the grave in a sense.
Well, that took place at right after they had done the one that first touchdown drive that they had for the night, right? And so, like, I understand Frank Reich's thought is kick it here. Our defense can stop them. They've stopped them every time. They've only gotten one touchdown against us at the end of by this point. And they can't run the ball. Like, they haven't been able to run the ball, too successfully. I mean, especially since they lost their running back. But they ended up having Derek Carr connect with a great pass deep down the side against Dante Jackson.
Same thing happened against the Saints, against the Titans last week, right?
Yeah,
it's like you let them hang and hang and hang. I almost would say what's the harm in trying to win?
No, I agree.
We're sitting here looking at this right now and going, oh, it almost was just this is if you don't really believe in your team that much, you should fucking manufacture belief.
Well, look, I thought it was very funny that before the game on a Carolina Panthers home season opener, they did a special on Derek Carr rather than Bryce Young, the #1 pick. I thought it was really
on television.
Strange. On television, I thought it was really ESPN. Really strange they did that. And in that special, they showed that exact play. They showed Derek Carr and Jameis Winston sitting on the sideline saying Sneed needs to go up the rail, whatever they say.
Yeah.
And they ran that play the next play and got the exact same result they did against Carolina. The exact same play. And it was
if you're ahead, they can't make that play. If you're ahead, if you're up at that point, you get to play a different defense that is more in the prevent style. Let's go back to the calls. The number's 252-228-5098. We're going to take two back-to-back.
I told y'all motherfuckers last year, man. Yo, what's up, man? It's NC base, man. I told y'all last year, not a trade CMC, not a trade DJ Moore. Keep Steve Wilkes. Not a drive a 5'7" quarterback. Look what the fuck this shit got.
Is this me calling in?
Another long off season. We're ready to eat crow. It's gonna be a long season.
What's this? I gave y'all money. Shout me out. I don't think I missed the super chat.
You haven't missed him. Did you check your Cash App or something?
Oh, I got nothing. Where you send it? I'd love to. First of all, Mark
he said something earlier too.
Mark Land, I'll be happy to shout you out, and I hope I didn't miss anybody. Right now, we are missing our producer right now, and Cody Lack, who is out probably at the Uptown Cabaret. You used to be able to get into the Uptown Cabaret for free if you had a game ticket that night on a Sunday night. I wonder if they're even open on a Monday. I wonder if they specially open on a game night.
I'm sure they are.
I've been there once. Been there once, and kind of weird and kind of awesome to have a giant, great breakfast buffet at a strip club. I don't know how I felt about it, but I certainly was mealing on that plate.
I'll say, did you eat?
4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Let's go to the next call. And you guys cover me real quick on this call. All right. It's a long one.
What's up, P3? It's JJ.
Oh, there's
calling in from Louisville. Figured I'd
JJ.
start saying that while I call in. But let's just jump right into it. We all just got done watching that disaster class. You were right, Greg. Hold on, Greg. Hold on.
Wait, let me
Before
write the
you
time
even
down real quick.
Get going. Hold on. Just hear me out real quick, all right? Check me out, all right? Just let me get this off my chest, and then you can go. You can have the keys from there, all right? All right, check me out. Listen, I may have been a big Bryce fan here recently. I, for the most part, enjoyed giving you shit about it just because it was funny seeing you, Anthony, and Gregory always doing it. So I'd call him perfect, call him the GOAT, and then give you a lot of shit about being negative about Bryce, mainly because I wanted to be positive about my quarterback. But even during the draft process, before we drafted a quarterback, I was on the bandwagon of any of the quarterbacks, all three of them. But me and Cody were some of the bigger CJ Stroud fans and defenders, but I'm not going to say that like I should be escaped of all attitude, all, oh, JJ, you were fucking wrong, because I'm sure I deserve a few of those back. But yeah, he looks terrible. He looks like he lacks the arm talent. He lacks the natural speed. He looks like he can't see over the line. He looks like he lacks the actual confidence and leadership. It looks like this whole thing is a disaster. Like this whole franchise, we keep making moves to somewhat move up, and it is just falling beneath us every single time. Bryce Young looks terrible, bro. Like I just said all the things, and I'm truly worried about him moving forward, and I'm worried about this team for the rest of the season. We looked awful, but I mean, like, I waved the white flag. I'm on your side, Greg. And until Bryce Young does anything positive or remotely good enough to sit here and say, hey, we can move forward with that, I am officially no longer defending Bryce Young. Wow. Greg, you were right. Wow. That's all I have to say. I'll call in on Tuesday. Everyone, it's going to be okay because we're going to keep pounding all 20C3.
Respect, wow. JJ. We both given our admitted to Greg we were a little too overhyped about this whole situation. So
yeah.
Well, to be fair, Anthony, you've been very willing to kind of back off of the success that Bryce is going to have this year, just based on the lack of supporting cast in your eyes, right? I think we all had stars in our eyes when we saw DJ Chark come to the team, Adam Thielen, because we see what they've done in the past, and they haven't really lived up to that hype up to this point. DJ Chark did one good thing today, and that's draw a pass interference. Adam Thielen was able to actually make it into the end zone with a really good play to the end zone, but he even felt like he was slow on his routes and breaking out. I think when you look at that and you look at the rookie Mingo, he's been disappointing in a lot of different ways. Outside of that last drive where he was able to get a deep shot, find a soft zone, and get wide open to get him down to within goal line. I mean, other than that, I mean, like, you're right. I mean, this wide receiver core has been disappointing. So that also has to be a contingent to this. Bryce Young can't be expected to be the only one. Bryce Young also has to be able to trust his guys at the same time. I know that's a weird thing to have to say back to back, but Bryce Young is not throwing the ball because he doesn't see guys open. You don't throw the ball because you don't see guys open. You throw the ball because you know this guy is going to be able to get open, right? A lot of times that's what you're going to have to deal with when you're dealing with these, guys who aren't considered elite wide receivers in this league right now. You can't just wait for them to get open. You've got to find a way to give them those.
He was waiting, Cody.
Exactly.
He was waiting, I think it was him.
That's his problem, though, Tony. Is that in college?
I think it was part him not pulling the trigger tonight.
Yeah,
yes,
in
college. Go ahead, CK.
I was just saying, I think he overcorrected, and I think he overcorrected from last week. Last week he was read. Nobody's open. Throw the ball away. Right. Tonight it was read. Wait. Get out of the pocket a little bit. Maybe even get out of the pocket before you needed to get out of the pocket, and then throw the ball away or get sacked or try to run for it or what have you. So, like, I think we're seeing like maybe some calibration from Bryce Young. I also like some of the times I see him on the field. It's just so much. I know he's a rookie, and I don't know what I expect from him, but when he's like looking over for like to the sideline for like approval for what he's about to do, like sometimes it's like I get that feeling. I know he's waiting for a play call or he's just trying to get some advice or what have you, but like I do feel like this this coaching staff has handcuffed him in some way, shape, or form to be able to do the things that, because like this is not what we saw from Bryce Young in college. And I know they're two different ways of playing. It's a gap between what college is and NFL, but this isn't even close to what we saw from Bryce Young. Bryce Young was creative. Bryce Young was able to extend plays. He was able to keep his eye down the field, throw receivers open. It just feels as though this coaching staff has done something to handcuff him. And I don't know what it is. I can't pinpoint it, but that's what it feels like to me at this point in time.
I think that, it goes back to what I say, that I don't think Bryce Young is a bad quarterback. I really don't. I just think he was not the right guy for us to select in this moment based on the way our team was. I think there were other options we could have gone with that might have been better for us in the future. And I don't want to talk too much shit about Bryce Young. Like, this is not a gotcha moment.
That's too early.
It's too early. It's too early for it to be a gotcha moment for the people that I've been saying this might happen. It's still too early. He could throw for, like I said, for 500 yards in the next 2 games and 6 touchdowns. And then what can we say? I don't
all
think
he
that's
needed
going
was
to happen,
one
but
it was the Panthers put manufacturers 1 touchdown drive coming out of the half, and this game is different. We talk about a gritty win. We talk about putting it behind you. We talk about those different things. It's just, I think right now is that he's going to lack confidence until he finds some success. I think he just needs to find some success, and I'm waiting for it. I'm just waiting for it. And even me, to someone who was earlier in here, I was going back and forth about how it wasn't a good game for Bryce Young. I'm fine with him not having a good game. I'm okay, like, not fine. I want him to have a good game. I want him to have success. I want him to be being better. But I think it's okay to say, hey, he's not playing well right now. Right. But I thought that this game, the way the defense played so well, that you were 1 touchdown away, 1 good drive from negating all of that. From wiping the whole, like the Etch-a-Sketch, remember, or whatever it was, and you get to run the thing, and we just go, hey, you know what? Early struggles, but man, that's some grit, some tenacity. It just didn't work out. Go ahead, Anthony, and then we got to talk about Kev, and hopefully we get to see them.
Oh yeah, Kev,
yeah.
At least show us a picture.
Yeah. I agree with what Greg says when he says I don't think he was the right quarterback to be selected this situation. I think we
player. I don't know if a quarterback was there for us, to be truly honest with you. Sorry.
Yes, that's I don't know if you could, I don't know how much better Richardson or Stroud would do in this system. I mean, there is nothing really, working with. Like, at least you see those coaches kind of scheming things open, playing to their strengths. And that's kind of what the caller, and, we just said Frank Reich's kind of handcuffing him. I think the last part of this is, what is our offensive identity? Like, what are we supposed to be right now? Because at least when we had Christian McCaffrey, we knew, okay, we're going to run the ball to Christian McCaffrey. We're going to do this. I just don't know what our identity is.
It's Bryce. It's got to be Bryce. And that's fine. It might come with some bumps and bruises. It might not come immediately. That's why I'm thinking when we're in 3rd and 3 or the 4th and 3, I think you have confidence and you say, Bryce, this is what we got you for. Spread them out. It's 3 yards. We don't got to get a touchdown. We got to get a first down. I think you got to put him in positions to get him and gain him some confidence. I think the maybe we've given flowers too much to too many people too early. We were so excited about this coaching staff, and I don't want to take him away. I'm not even ready for Frank Reich to take the play calling away. I think Thomas Brown might need to be more vocal and say, hey, Frank, let's not run it up the middle. Anthony, I know you got to roll at 12. Last comment for you. Oh, he might have gone.
Oh, hold on. What did you say?
You got to leave at 12. So here's the mic before you go.
Yeah, man. As always, I'll always keep pounding. Thank you guys for allowing me to come on here, man. I really appreciate it. You already know C3, best podcast on the internet. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button. I'll definitely call in Tuesday. You already know the whole gig. See y'all Friday.
Which is like in 1 minute.
Oh, yeah. You can play my call. Just don't play it while I'm on this because I kind of gave away what I was going to say. But thank you guys so much, man. Keep pounding. I'll see y'all later.
All right. Thanks a lot, Anthony Piccarello. White Chocolate Express, Kev is out with Cody right now. He said, if you can only see Cody right now. Well, we can. You got a smartphone, bro. Right. You got a smartphone. You can.
Send me some pictures, man.
Or just come in live for a second.
Live stream,
in this. All right. Will Horsley, thank you, man. So many generous people tonight. crazy generosity tonight. Will Horsley with a $9.99 super chat. He says, I personally think a shitty O-line is making Bryce paranoid, can't make his reads confidently. What are your thoughts? All right, what did you guys think about the offensive line? I feel like as Panther fans, we have offensive line PTSD. And there were moments, right? There was one moment where they just walked right up the middle, and you're like, oh, poor Bryce. And that was the one where somebody got him by the shirt and
pulled him
yanked him down,
yeah,
and you're
by the
like,
shirt.
oh, that is actually the concern about having somebody so tiny, is that he got ragdolled by nothing. But your thoughts on the offensive line? We had some movement. Savala to left guard. They put in Cade Mays, did not work out. Took him out with a three name. What are your thoughts on the offensive line? How it's contributing to Bryce Young's success? Great, thank you, Will, for a great question.
Yes, thank you. I think the offensive line definitely has shoulders of blame for the game tonight. They didn't look great, but they didn't look terrible. I saw plenty of times Bryce Young had a clean pocket or was in a situation where he could throw the ball as he should, squared up, and he kind of missed the throw. I saw a lot of times where maybe had he had a chance to square up and throw, he would have done it, but he got sacked. It was kind of 50-50 tonight for me. I think the offensive line did not play great by any means, but I think they played well enough that a quarterback that we traded as much as we have for should have been able to compensate with the offensive line that he had.
I don't know. I don't disagree. I don't
Not
agree
in all
with that.
plays, in some plays.
Yeah, I think he could have played better, even with the offensive line play. I do agree with that, but I also think it's not just a matter of him being protected. It's that run game was horrendous. Like we had one run that was over 5 yards, and that was the first run of the entire game.
That was the red flag for this offensive line more than the pass protection.
Yeah, the pass protection is not even that big of a deal. It was like every time that they were trying to get pushed, man, it was they weren't opening up any run lanes. And that's a testament to that Saints defense, but also a concern with the fact that we've lost probably one of our better rated offensive line and Brady Christensen for the rest of the season. And then you had to start messing with people's, positions that they had been playing in preseason and what have you. So now you add Cade Mays to the mix. You end up having to bench him halfway through the game. This is more of a problem from the run. I mean, here's the thing. When you don't have wide receivers that are getting a tremendous amount of separation, I know you don't, want to buy too much into that, Tony, but that's a piece of this, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's okay. I think it's a little low hanging fruit for some people. Right. I think calling Adam Thielen old and slow is a little unfair right away. When I saw a stat where he was actually one of the faster players on the field for the Panthers. You know what I mean? Like, so I just think it's easy to say, oh, these receivers could be getting so much open. But I saw plenty of times where guys were open and Bryce happened to either be looking the other way or feeling like he needed to go ahead and go off structure. So I just don't think it's the simple thing. I don't think, hey, you put in Justin Jefferson here and all of a sudden Bryce is throwing 400 yards a game. I don't think it's that simple.
I don't think it is either, but that's the reason I don't think it's that simple is because if you can't get your run game going, this secondary will have their field day making sure that you can't pass the ball. Like, and the thing is, they weren't threatened by the passing. So our passing game wasn't there. That was the case last week. Our run game wasn't there. Too. And so this like when you watch some of these formations, they were doing single high safety. They didn't even have a fear at all for what our offense was going to be able to do. Like they were playing all that mid to, short to mid range zone and everything. And that's like, that was the Achilles heel of this entire thing.
I think I would have played just a little bit more West Coasty, like, you know what I'm saying? Like spread them out, short passes, move, maybe up tempo a little at some times.
Right.
So yeah, is the wide receiver core a strength of this team? I mean, no, right? And I mean, obviously, we are relying on Mingo right now to be an important player. We didn't see any Terrace Marshall Jr., who we thought, man, I don't even know if he got a single catch this game. I don't even know if he played a snap, to be honest. And I stupidly put his ass in Prize Picks for 11 yards.
Yeah.
But like, it's like this, is it rhythm? It's all of these things put together. And so, yes, not having burners, not having this, but I think at the end of the day, there's other ways to scheme. I think tonight, really what I would have done, and look, hindsight's 2020. I do think there's worthy criticism of Frank Reich tonight not being I don't like the vanilla. I think this is a lack of adjustment. I thought that it took too long to see that the running game just wasn't working in that manner. So if you want to keep them honest, you have to manufacture a running game in a different way, running back screens, but some different things that maybe make the same type of difference to keep the defense honest. If that's your case, I just think, hey, Bryce's his superpower is spreading them out, reading the defense, making quick, short these quick, decisive throws, and he hasn't done that. And maybe the play calling hasn't lent for him to do that either. So there's a lot of things that need to be improved on the offense, from the receivers to the run game to the offensive line to Bryce Young. And with those play calling, let's go to the next goal.
What up, Panther Nation? This is JP Boston, the Drunken Panther.
What's up, my man?
And I gotta tell you, a little disappointed with this one. I keep going back to the same thought over and over again, which is, the defense looked good. And I feel like we've been saying the defense looked good for 3 years now. And it's exhausting that we can't put together an offense to match the defense. And eventually, the defense won't be able to match the offense if we can't build a balanced team. This was a winnable game. With Greg on this one, I'm sure Greg is going to pile on Bryce. Bryce didn't look great. Nice. He just didn't. And that is, the Saints defense is legit. So I don't want to pile too hard on Bryce. I get it. It's only his second game. But this was a winnable game with a competent offense. It doesn't even need to be an elite offense, just a competent offense. And the offense just wasn't there. It just, you get Shark back, you didn't get anything from him. And I just don't know. I don't know what the fix is. I don't know if it's the play calling. I was calling out the plays, whether run versus pass, every single snap. And I was right probably 75, 80% of the time, which means, I don't know, maybe the play calling is an issue, but this was a winnable game. It was beyond winnable.
The next four aren't going to be likely.
And that's just, it's just not acceptable. You're down 0-2 you're 0-2, and I don't know. There's just, where do you build from here? Where do you build? This obviously isn't set up to be a winning season, and that's just not okay. Disappointed. I'm not going to scream like G Baby. I'm not going to call people fake fans or whatever else, but it just wasn't a good look, top to bottom.
Shame on you. Scream.
A flash.
Where is G Baby?
Looked okay at times.
Glenn, where you
Offensive line looked okay at times.
Rehab after
defense
this game.
Looked like, again, they looked legit. They looked like a real defense, and the offense squandered it for them.
Great call. Yeah. Good call.
So anyway, C3, keep doing what you're doing. Keep pounding. And I'll see you on the next one.
Thank you. Let's keep pushing through with these calls. Thank you very much. Great call.
Yo, what's up, y'all? A terrible loss. DJ from Greenville calling
DJ.
in. Oh my God. I just want to say the worst part about this game is that Chicago's getting our #1 pick next year.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Yes.
Bryce looked terrible. Bryce looked terrible. But the worst part about that is that the rest of the offense around him made him look terrible.
Mm-hmm.
The offensive line was absolute fucking garbage.
Up the interior
Receivers,
tonight.
nobody's getting open. Adam Thielen's they're covering Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen's getting all the attention of the defense, and nobody else can get open. They can't run. Jonathan Mingo can't run a goddamn route. You catch the ball. I mean, come on, dude.
He had a drop tonight.
Y'all
that
watch
hurt.
the game. You know what I'm saying. It's absolutely fucking terrible. Jesus. And Chuba Hubbard's our backup running back. That's the type of help he's got. So y'all be easy on Bryce. Hopefully the front office can make some better decisions in the future on how to actually help him out. Because it turns out we probably deserved the #1 pick last year. But I don't know what happened.
Yeah, we deserve it next year.
Keep pounding, boys. It's going to be a long year.
Brandon R. says, can we also mention that AR-15, the biggest, toughest quarterback in the draft, has been hurt both games he has played. So the small guy getting hurt trope is out.
Nope, because CK and me talked about this before we got on, and CK did mention that he has a 100% injury statistic. He also has a 100% start. So let's see if he starts next week.
Now he has a concussion.
Let's see if he starts next week,
and
then he's going to have a 100% start rate too. So injury or not, he started every game.
I think CJ would be the more appropriate one to look at in so many ways. Is Justin Long says CJ out here throwing for 384.
Yeah.
And CJ was the bigger body, the guy that we thought was kind of the in between. Maybe I won't say in between. He's not his anyway. But look, I just think I think that so much of the narrative is Bryce Young's going to come in and immediately find success. These other guys are going to have so much time to develop and things like that. And then now you see those guys putting up yards. You see Bryce struggling in the face of some of this adversity. And it's like a perfect storm of criticism. I am not worried about Bryce as in I'm not, again, I didn't think he played well tonight. Did not think he played well. But I think I just want to see, we got to get him playing with confidence. And tonight you saw frustration. You saw a little bit of him questioning himself at those points, and that's what we don't want. And those are the things that we had thought that Bryce was immune to, and maybe that's a shame on us for thinking that it would be that easy. Let's go to the next call.
What's going on, my Panther family? D, Sanford, North Carolina, baby. Calling you from work. Snuck out because I'm not going to miss the opportunity to talk Panther football with my C3 family, the greatest fan base in all of football. So now let's get to the nitty gritty. I am tremendously proud of our defense. You might be like, oh, so forth, but let's look at it, man. Derek Carr was not exceptional today. He was able to make 2 key throws where Chris Olave killed us. C.J. Henderson did us no favors. Our offensive line did us no favors. And they kept us in some very, very strict situations as far as the defense, where their back was against the wall to stop this game from totally getting out of hand. And towards the end, I know they was tired and they gassed, but they kept fighting. As far as Bryce, we've got to do something with play calls. I'm not really digging a lot of the play calls that we are doing. I think like when you have a Miles Sanders, if you pay attention to what he was doing in Philly last year, there was a lot of RPO action, pistol action, different things of that nature, kind of stretching, giving him an opportunity. And I understand we don't have the same offensive line as the Eagles. I would be an idiot to say that we had the same offensive line as the Eagles. but you've got to find a way. You've got the game plan to get that man in open space so he can do what he does. As far as our receivers not getting separation, we took on one of the best secondaries in football. And I don't like the Saints, but I like to give credit where credit is due. Their defense applied pressure to this banged-up offensive line that we had. And, yeah, we've had problems stopping the run this season so far, but I felt like our defense really, really showed up. And my final just take on this whole team as far as this game right here, there's a future, people. I see the light at the end of the tunnel. I understand that this was not a great offensive production, but the way our defense is playing, and if we can just figure out how to muster some offense that's not necessarily a field goal. The star player for the Panthers today, Eddie Pinheiro, he was money. Shout out to Eddie. And for Cruiser Hill to come in for Shaq Thompson the way he did, I loved it. Sometimes having to be matched up on Michael Thomas, you know that was a nightmare. But in conclusion.
Well, he got cut off. Let's see. Oh, he's not next. Let's go to the next one. Fat fingers, fat fingers, fat fingers.
Hold on. Let me get 2 scoops of this real quick.
Oh, God, JJ. We got 100 calls.
Like
one
that.
scoop.
We look like the worst team in the NFL. We look
Wow.
like this team has no identity, no future. And I just want to say shout out to me and Cody and those before the draft who were not these Bryce sexuals, though. I will say that.
Oh,
as much as I
this is a
enjoyed
total walkback,
at
JJ.
the draft,
He called him the GOAT
season,
2 weeks
being on the
ago.
Bryce Young train. Oh my God, he's perfect. He's the GOAT. He's going to be great.
No.
Nah,
Cancel
I
this call.
came back
Stop
to
it.
reality.
Stop this
So,
call. This is garbage.
We're out of
this
here,
is you
JJ.
reneging on everything, man.
What's
Come
up,
on.
C3? It's Anthony from Charlotte.
This is Anthony. There's
Terrible
another
game.
one.
Bryce Young did not play good. Offense did not play good. Frank Reich, I don't even know why we hired you. I mean, I just think we need to like just rebuild,
JJ's
trade
gonna have
players.
to
This
atone
team
tomorrow.
isn't going anywhere. Yeah. Scott Bitter, you need to be fired. I told y'all that he didn't build a competent team for this rookie quarterback. Bryce Young led our team in rushing. I mean, it's just like we're putting all this on his plate. I know he missed throws. I know he didn't play good, but it just feels like he doesn't have any help like to his side right now. I mean, there was times where
you know what? You came on the show. Thank you. We'll get back to you tomorrow. Let's
he
keep
said
going.
don't play his call.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Well, he was on here.
Yo, TJ calling back in again. I just had to say one more thing, man. Why are you're running the ball against a brick wall? I understand you have to run the football, but come on, nothing is happening. You're getting nowhere running the ball, except you're putting Bryce in a bad position. If you want to improve his game, let him throw the damn ball. You're not getting anywhere running the ball. It did us no good to do that. Put us behind the line of scrimmage. Why are they doing that? And why is every goddamn ball being snapped under 5 seconds of play clock left? Make a damn decision. Call a fucking play. Just call a fucking play and let Bryce make the damn decision if you don't know what the fuck you're doing. But this is that bullshit again. We can't even barely get a damn playoff, causing extra stress on the quarterback, putting him behind the line to gain, running the ball into a brick wall. You know the O-line sucks. Come on, y'all. You're not helping the man at all. So I don't want to hear this, Bryce that. Come on now. He's a rookie. And we sucked last year. And it seems like we got worse outside of really the quarterback. I don't know what the coach, I don't know if it's the play calls. I don't really think it's the play calls other than you got to get him the call in. Get the call onto the field. Come on. What are they doing?
I tell you, JJ's got a lot of atoning to do for that call tomorrow night.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people calling for us to talk about this right here. Let me know if you can hear this.
Oh, yeah, okay. You got it. Got it too.
Shaq did have a
Can you hear the audio?
ankle injury. Probably going to miss some extended time, but we need some further evaluation tomorrow with the doc. So we'll give you the information when we have a full evaluation. Tough loss. We just got to own every bit of it. We got to learn from it and got to get better. Obviously, I thought the defense really played well, kept us in the game for a long time. I was encouraged, it's 6-3 at halftime and feel like we were struggling like we were behind the sticks all the time. Just couldn't get a rhythm or couldn't get momentum on offense. Some penalties and some miscues here and there had us behind the sticks. Defense kept us in, made plays, got some turnovers. That was good. I thought special teams played well. We're talking in there for a little bit, not with the team, just talking with a couple guys. Like I've seen this before. It's not that far away. It looks bad, but really, I don't believe it's that far away. We make a couple plays here, we here and there, and next thing you know, you got 28, 30 points. I know that's true. I know we have the players and the coaches to do it.
Okay, good coach speak
I
here.
have zero doubt about that. It's just we have to execute better on offense. I'll open it up from there.
Frank, is there a couple plays you can point to that kind of back that up, what you're saying about being close?
Yeah, fair question, Joe. Let me look at the film just to really before. And again, I don't like to single plays or players out, but I just know in the course of that game, there were a couple opportunities here and there that we just.
That sounds like he doesn't believe it.
Yeah.
Coach talk.
A lot of pressure.
He's got to.
About the way he's handling that pressure.
I think Bryce is handling the pressure well. Listen, he's a quarterback, head coach, quarterback, right? We're going to take the heat and that just comes with the territory. So you own that and you understand that when you're in that position. And Bryce understands that for the position that he's in.
Where's the Bryce interview?
I can tell you this: it's certainly, our struggle on offense. It's not one person. Again, we'll look at the film, but I thought Bryce did some really positive things. Made some plays with his feet, made some good decisions, made good throws, showed plenty of things that we want to see. So was encouraged by that. I know how hard it is to play that position. I've been around it a long time. And I know how dependent it is on everything. So we all got to get better. Everybody's got to get better, coaches and players. So that's the way we work through it.
Then it came after.
Yeah, I thought the receivers ran good routes. I thought at times, I thought there's some things that looked good out there at times. So again, I got to take a closer look at the film, but I'm confident in our group of receivers. I'm confident in our group of receivers.
Right. Came after a turn.
It was just something that you guys were doing with preseason where you would call the first half, Thomas Brown would call the second half. When you get kind of in an offensive rut like tonight, does it ever come up as a possibility to possibly let him get in and call a few, or is that not a change that you would make in game?
Yeah, that's not a change I would make in game. Listen, the way I've mentioned this before, the way we call plays, I'm calling the plays, but it's very collaborative. I'm talking to those guys on the sideline, but I'm the one who calls them. And, I'm always going to do what I think is best for the team. Right now, I think it's best for the team that I'm calling the plays. I'm confident in the play calling. We all got to get better, but I'm not ready to do anything there. Thomas is a great coach. He's, one day I want him to call it. When that
now it's getting farther down the road, though.
Right now, I know it's a lot of things. It's not.
All right, here, I'm gonna pause it right here.
I can be better. All the coaches can be better. All the players can be better. I'm not saying it's perfect, but I'm confident that we have the coaches and the players and the play caller to be better on offense.
Frank Reich does not sound ready to consider giving up the play calls. Nick Sirianni had to do this in Philadelphia 2 years ago. But here is that, you kind of had some illusions from the beginning that, this is how it's going to work. And then we're going to ease Thomas Brown in, that I'm ready to pass the reins on when he's ready and stuff like this. To me, now what this is saying is Frank Reich doesn't want to give away the play calling. And he's not interested. I don't know if that day will come, to be honest.
No, I agree. It sounds like he has no intention
at some point, right?
Yeah, he has no intention right here. It sounds like of giving away the play call.
100% it doesn't.
All right, let's go. We're going to take a call, then we're going to come back to this. We'll do the Bryce Young. We'll talk about Bryce Young's interview on the Tuesday night show. So we'll get through this post game, but here we'll take a couple calls here. We'll come back to the Frank Reich. Frank Reich said he's confident in the play calling. I would have liked him to say this: is I could have done some things better tonight. I would, and maybe like him saying the right things for me. I don't know if I need that, but that seemed a little tone deaf in the idea that the game was called correctly, and lending towards what a lot of people have been saying about Frank Reich and his play calling. Let's take a call.
Yeah, this is Panther Pickle. Let me tell you what. Bullshit. G-Baby, you're a freaking liar. I do a lot more screaming, but I'm outside. It's in the middle of the night, so I don't want to wake everybody up because of sir. But let me tell you something. I'm done hearing about Bryce the Truth Young. That's a fucking lie. The guy's too short to see over the line of scrimmage. This is a fact. This is not a snide comment. This is a fact. There were open receivers on most of the game today. Bryce couldn't see them. Okay? I don't want to hear the fact that the receivers can't get open. Are they perfect? No, the receivers are not perfect.
I agree with him on this.
But they were open. This Miles Sanders is the god. Bullshit. G-Baby, shut your fucking mouth.
I'm wrong.
You
I thought
need
Miles
to
Sanders
stop
was
sucking on Bryce Young's cock. Fact is, you and Anthony both need to stop sucking on Bryce Young's cock.
Pickle.
And I've got
He's
a lot more to
Greg.
say come Friday.
He's pulling a Greg.
Don't forget, by the way, you can go to CarolinaCatChronicles.com, hit the shop tab under gear, and get cool shirts like the original C3 shirt, One Nation, One Voice on the back, 2 state. So it's got both states, C3 in the middle. You can get the Shut the Hell Up.
Shut the hell up!
You can get the You Make Me Fucking Sick t-shirt. And right now, I feel like the Shut the Hell Up and the You Make Me Fucking Sick t-shirt should be rolling off the presses.
Yeah.
That's one way, man. These are really high. I always make sure I select good quality t-shirts so they don't shrink and stuff like that. So go to CarolinaCatChronicles.com, hit the shop tab, gear, look through the t-shirts. You can even get the C3 mug. Was it CK or Greg who had something to say? And then we'll take the next call.
I'm good.
I mean, I was going to say that that's still a bit harsh. We're 2 games in. You cannot have that strong of opinion,
okay.
Right?
I think that's fair.
In the people who say there's a tremendous amount of evidence that shows that he's a bust is just you're fooling yourselves. There's 2 games worth of evidence that you can probably point to say that, right? His entire career as a football player is completely contradictory to that, what the past 2 games have looked like, right? Now, as a player, as a professional player, he's not he hasn't shown anything that says that he's an elite quarterback yet. There is hope, but you just can't come about it this way.
Yeah,
you cannot
give
put
up
yourself
right now.
Yeah,
Right.
you can't put yourself in this position where because and Greg, you obviously we had this conversation, and I know a lot of it was so you didn't have to have the conversation later. But like there is a part of this that is, people who didn't like Bryce are just looking for this to be just confirmation that he's a bust. And that's an overreaction. Yeah. That's not realistic.
No, I totally feel you, CK, and you're absolutely right. And don't get me wrong. Like I've said that I didn't feel this way. And yes, it does feel it's bittersweet if Bryce Young ends up being a bust. But like I said before, I'm not calling him a bust. He could throw for a ton of yards and a few touchdowns the next few games and be great. I'm not calling him a bust yet. I don't think he's the best pick for Carolina, which is different. I think that you put Bryce Young in Dallas, you put Bryce Young in Buffalo, you put Bryce Young behind an elite line with a wide receiver. I think he's a fantastic quarterback. I really do. I just don't think he was the guy for Carolina, especially with Williams and May coming up next year.
All right, let's go to the next call, and we'll get back to Frank Reich.
But this is dude just concluding. We've got to be patient with Bryce. I keep seeing flashes. I don't want to hear the thing about what Peyton Manning was so horrible. No. We don't have to live by nobody else's standard but our own. I saw things I liked. I saw things I didn't like. By the way, D from Sanford, just continuing my call. I see the positive. But believe me, family, I see the negative. And I feel like we can correct the negative in a lot of ways that positive I seen can be highlighted and it can be greater. We found our quarterback. It might not look like it right now, but we got to get receivers. Our receivers have got to get some kind of separation. We've got to have some different play calls. And hopefully somehow we find an O-line unit together that can play a whole game. And we can play. Because there was too many third downs where we had the penalties when we were moving the ball well. We was having false starts and so forth. But in conclusion, not to talk all your head off, I know it's late. We're going to be all right. Keep pounding. I love you, Cody. I love you, Tony. I love the whole C3 family. Y'all have a beautiful night. I got till 2 o'clock before I get off. I'm going to stew and simmer over this and listen to you guys give some of the best, complete, and beautiful Panther coverage. Love every single one of you. D.
Thank you, D.
Appreciate it.
Let's go. Look, this are just like multiple seconds because he's learning the show. He's probably not here anymore because he said he had to go to bed. And I said he smoked great weed because he was crazy on Twitter.
Hey, it's Mason from Twitter, by the way. So yeah, I don't know how. I've never called in, so I wouldn't know. But yeah, that's just I don't know.
That's why you follow the instructions, homie. Let's see.
What happened to your nigger quarterback, Brad?
Oh,
whoa. Yeah. Chill out, man. The hell's that?
Right. Next call.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's 7 Sports Talk here, and I just want to call in. It's been a while since I've called in. I'm always listening to the shows on Tuesdays, but it's been a while since I've called in. But man, normally I'm optimistic. I've been a little bit more optimistic as a sports fan in the more recent years than I have in the past. And this game, I know it's 2 weeks into the season only, but Bryce Young, like, I was watching the game with Pickle and a bunch of us, and Pickle kept calling out that there were some wide open receivers, and Bryce just wasn't throwing the ball to them. And I believe him.
He's right.
And
He's right there.
It's disappointing. I mean, it's one losing season after another, and it's frustrating to be a Panthers fan right now. And it really is. I mean, we just couldn't do anything on offense. I mean, I do think it partly is our weapons. I also think it's partly Bryce, and I also think it's partly the play calling. I think it's a majority of the play calling a little bit, but I also think it's on Bryce a little bit. And yeah, I mean, I cannot lie. DJ Stroud ain't looking that good right now. And I know that's going to be hot, and everybody's going to get on me because, it's too early. I said already. I know it's only been 2 weeks, but this is not looking good right now. And yeah, I mean, I'm disappointed in the team. I think a little bit the media and also myself and other people got me a little bit too excited for this season that we were going to go at least like at the minimum 7 wins, maybe 8. I thought maybe we would get 10 wins, go 10-7, but it's looking like, I mean, right now it's looking like it would have been nice to have a first-round pick this year, if I'm being honest. If it keeps up like this, it's kind of going to be annoying knowing that we gave away a first-round pick, and that first-round pick might be top 5. Like I said, though, only 2 weeks into the season, so it's a little early to worry about that, but it's not looking good right now. It isn't, and I'm disappointed as a fan. Normally, I'm a little level-headed and I don't get too worried, but yeah, y'all keep pounding. I might call in again. We'll see how I feel though. Keep pounding, y'all.
Somebody put in, thank you for the call. Somebody put in the chat that it's like the 1950s in here because of the last call. This is how dumb racists are. This dummy, I got his phone number.
Right.
Like we could call him right now You know what I'm saying? Like we could, and because I'm not a person who wants to give someone that platform, I'm not even going to put his phone. I could put his phone number on the internet now, but he's going to be blocked. And you know what is that we want to have a fan discussion here, but that is not the place for this. And what a dummy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 980 Eric. I mean, like I have it, the fucking phone number. What a fucking idiot. Let's go to the next call. We'll go back to Frank Reich. These are short calls.
Hey, this is Wavy Cat with 2 P's. I was wondering if you guys would, consider showing this voice message to your community. You guys fucking suck on it.
Yeah, thanks.
Well,
nice. I wonder
not
what
terribly wrong, but
These
yeah.
are nice late night trolls. Good try, buddy, but you didn't get it.
Hey, I just think that Bryce really didn't have a bad game. It was very fine. It was very okay, but it's going to look better because of the last drive. And I think that people are going to unfairly factor in the last drive to the performance that he had, which was mostly like mediocre. But it's just so difficult to evaluate Bryce based on such a difficult situation. And what the real issue with the Panthers offense is right now, in my opinion, is that we really can't get ahead of the sticks at all. We're in so many second and longs and third and longs. We never get second and mediums or second and shorts where you can really open up the playbook and run play action and run shot plays and whatnot. And we just get none of that tonight. You look at tonight and it's like we're on 1st and 15 because of a hold or a false start. Hayden Hurst had a penalty. Cade Mays had a penalty on that 4th and 1, of course. And it's just like, this is not winning football. And I think this comes back to Reich and the coaching. Of course, this is not a very disciplined football team, unfortunately. And Bryce needs to be better. Absolutely. But from what I've seen tonight, and I think a lot of people that watch film, like you look at JT O'Sullivan and his film room, like he's going to watch this game. He's going to say, like, yeah, Bryce Young played a relatively good football game. It was okay. It wasn't great. It wasn't bad. And, it's just a hard position to succeed in. And that is kind of why I think the Bryce Young panic is very overblown. I think we really need to like pump the brakes and say, hey, Bryce, you need to be better. You're going to be better. And
that's exactly what I think we're saying.
We expect to be better.
It is to a certain extent.
That's just what I think. I don't know. Right, we got to run the ball too. We can't just run the ball so poorly. We got to get in good positions on second down. Our receivers need to get open. On that play that was almost a pick, quote unquote, Alondre, whatever, number 1 on the Saints almost got. Thielen ran, he was absolutely boxed. And dude, as an NFL
man, he threw a cupcake pass up, bro.
You got to win that route, man.
You can't throw a ball like a lollipop.
Like that. What do you? Bryce throws that ball before Thielen's even broken, and when he throws it, like one's right on Thielen's hip. That's just bad receiver play. And what do you want Bryce to do about that? He threw it at Mingo, and of course,
I don't want to bring up CJ and AR.
He got away with one.
I will if I have to.
Should say 2 turnovers on the stat sheet. Honestly, he got away with the first one was terrible. The second one was bad. That's not okay. But it's just tough to watch Bryce out there in a position that is so difficult. And Frank Reich, he needs to do something. I think Thomas Brown should take over the play calling. I think that's pretty popular.
Okay, that's fair. I think this is exaggerated about how difficult a situation he is in. I've seen Panther quarterbacks in far more untenable situations than Bryce has been in.
We were arguing we had the best line and wide receiver core of the Panthers' history at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, and I mean, we were stretching that. We were looking at optimism when it comes to the wide receiver core. But I saw a lot of plays where it's not. I've seen plays where I've seen worse offensive lines from the Carolina Panthers.
Yes, agreed. 100%.
I've seen worse. I've seen quarterbacks put in positions of having to come back. The game was in reach the whole time. What is such an untenable position? So I do understand that saying, hey, it's not like looking at a guy who is in a cupcake position or something where everything is set for him to succeed, but you're gonna have to find a way to overcome adversity in this league. And I don't think that this adversity has been too much to ask him to look again. I think he just had a bad game today. And do you want to say it's the worst game in the world? No. I just think there were opportunities for him to atone himself for some poor play, and he wasn't able to do it. And we can make a bunch of excuses why, but I don't think you need to excuse him from this equation tonight. I don't think the coaches did him any favors on offense, Frank Reich specifically. I think there were times the offensive line didn't do him any favors. Clearly, the run game didn't do him any favors. But that pick that he almost threw was a lollipop. Like, he dropped it. It almost feels like this to me, as Bryce has been playing too much in training camp where nobody can hit you and there's no consequences for a poor decision.
Do you know what it is, Tony? And this is what everybody that's a Bryce Young fan has to finally kind of accept is two things. Is one, we basically drafted a short Josh Rosen.
No way.
It's basically what we drafted is short Josh Rosen. And number two, like maybe Bryce is like I don't want to say he's not that guy, but like we traded 2 first-round picks and DJ Moore for him. Had we drafted Bryce Young just naturally as number 1, I think we'd feel different. But I think the fact that we gave up so much for him, we kind of expect some immediate results.
I think we should look to the Jets. We should look to the 49ers who have given up picks before and say this isn't something that we can't overcome and compensate. Scott Thomas said I spent $160 for a hotel, $184 for a ticket, $100 in beer just to watch. You know what is, Scott, I know that's a lot. You came out on a discount, bro. Getting a $160 hotel in Charlotte right now is a discount. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it was because of Monday. I don't know. But that is another thing. That's a question is at what point I think that's a existential question for NFL is like, at what point is it just too expensive for you to attend in a game at all? I mean, like to take they're pricing the middle class out. And I think you see that too with Bank of America being so financially oriented, the PSLs and things. There's so many business interests there. Let's finish up Price. Frank Reich, we'll go back to him. And
ready to be an e-commerce pioneer? Bluehost has step-by-step WordPress onboarding to make creating and run.
Skip ads. Don't do that when it's our ad.
Is that problematic from your view right now?
I thought last week, we ran the ball well, and then we didn't get the run game. We didn't get to the run game early. We were behind the sticks. I just felt like we were behind in long yardage situations. I have to go back and look at it.
Yeah, because you ran the ball, got no yards.
More runs. We had that one nice run on the second play of the game.
You remember that play?
It was like 13 yards, and that was it.
Do you remember he couldn't remember a play that said you were close to your offense, but he can remember that?
Was in late. Was that injury or other?
No, that was just, we had talked about giving him a few plays, in the game. So that was kind of planned out.
Given it came after a turnover, how big of a blow was that fumble in the first half?
The what now?
Given it was right after you guys forced the turnover, how big was that fumble by Bryce in the first half?
Every turnover hurts, right? I mean, every turnover hurts. That's one of those unfortunate ones where he made a lot of plays he made several plays with his feet today. This one guy comes behind him, gets the ball out. So it was a tough break, but we got to try to minimize turnovers.
Wanting to run the ball more. This game was a tie game or a 3-point game until like 3 minutes left in the third quarter. From a rhythm standpoint, as a play caller, how is there someone who kind of tells you what everything's going on? Do you have like a sounding board on the sideline that you really rely on?
Oh yeah, I mean, believe me, I'm talking to everybody. I'm talking to I primarily am talking to Thomas.
When?
Primarily talking to Thomas. I'm talking to Parks Frazier, who's our pass game coordinator, and I'm talking to Kemp and our O-line coach. Those are the main guys. So we're all collaborating. So everybody else feeds their information through those 3 guys, and then I'm talking to those 3 guys about finding out, hey, what's our next move? We collaborate on that together in between series, sometimes in between plays, sometimes thinking out 2 plays in advance. I'll be calling a play on first down and I'll say, hey, Thomas and Parks, be looking at third down. Let's just look at the third down options so we can talk about it when we get there. So kind of in that mode.
a few scattered boos tonight at various times when the offense was on the field. Is that just also part of playing quarterback?
Yeah, and that's not for. I don't think
Dude,
that's Bryce.
Anna was booing
that's
Ritter
on,
like crazy yesterday.
Me, that's on our team. So that's part of it. That's part of it. So I don't like it. I believe me. We want to give the fans wins and exciting brand of football. That's what we're going to do. That's what we're planning on doing. It's a process. We're 2 games into a 17-game season. Things haven't gone the way we wanted, but
give your fans hope first, then take wins.
We got another game coming up here Sunday. It'll be up on us real quick. So we got to learn from this one and get better for next week.
We didn't see much of Chuba tonight after he had 9 carries last weekend. What was the deal there?
I just think it was more like we couldn't get the run game going, and just not as many. We had 79 plays last week. We had 79 offensive plays. I think, might have been the most in the NFL last week, or right up there. So naturally, everybody was going to get more plays on offense tonight. I don't know what we had, but I know it wasn't anywhere close. And then, like I said, I just felt like we were struggling a little bit behind the sticks, and I felt like we were going to snap out of it. I felt like we hit a couple plays. And,
we were all waiting for it, Frank.
A couple things that looked good, and I thought we were going to snap out of it, and we just couldn't seem to do that. So
that's the difference.
You started off. We'll do one more. Frank, you had some slow starts in Indy, and then turned it around and finished with above 500 record.
Way to force yourself in there, buddy.
Point like this, what is the direction you have to take as a head coach? What does the message have to be?
I mean, it's a week-to-week lead.
All right, that's Frank Reich there. Let's go back to the calls. We're almost done, guys. A few more calls, and then we'll do our player of the game, talent shame, and get on out of here because we got a podcast in
less than 24 hours.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, less than 24. Exactly.
Hey, Panther Nation, how's it going? Can we talk
Great
about
question.
Justin Houston and how I think we should start him, and also with the Bryce Young situation? I don't really believe that it's necessarily Bryce Young, but I think we got to get some receivers in, man, or our season's done. He can throw the ball who he wants, try to throw him open, but if the guys never can get open, how is he going to throw it to somebody who's not open? So I feel like he makes the right reads and right decisions and whatnot. But we got to get some receivers. T. Higgins, Terrace Marshall needs to be on the deep ball, 50-50 balls, because he has the height. But I just want to see what y'all thought about Justin Houston tonight, man. And
well, he had a good play. Thanks for your call, man. He had a good play tonight. I saw him once. I don't know, guys, as Frank Reich says, have to go watch the tape. But look, imagine this defense without him.
Right.
Is that the defense has been playing well. You know who I want to shout out, guys? Actually, I'll save it for my player of the game. It's going to be a weird one. I'm gonna go outside the structure. Let's go to the next call. G Baby is in the hole. There he goes. Just a couple more calls and we're out of here, guys.
Hey. You know who the fuck it is. Booyaka, booyaka, booyaka! Everyone needs to fucking relax.
At least he's not pulling a JJ.
Again. Everybody needs to fucking relax. Bryce Young went 22 for 33 attempts, 153 yards, and a touchdown. 0 picks. 0 picks. Derek Carr went 21 for 36, 228 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 1 interception. While Bryce Young had his TD and 0 interceptions. We lost by 3, you punk-ass crybaby motherfuckers. We lost by 3! If we win this game, we're not even having this fucking discussion.
I don't know.
I'm going to ask you guys another question. Why the fuck did we sign Miles Sanders if we're not going to fucking play him? We signed this motherfucker to a multi-year deal.
We did play him.
And fucking Chuba Hubbard's out snapping this nigga.
No, it's not true.
What the fuck
That's
is going
wrong.
on here? Chuba Hubbard, I fucking hate you, bruh. I fucking hate you. Shaq Thompson fractured his fibula. He's out for the fucking season. Thank God we fucking signed Deion Jones to replace him. Brian Burns, where the fuck were you? These receivers, Adam Thielen, great game. But the play calling is fucking horrendous. Thomas Brown, please take over. Frank Wright, what the fuck is this? We don't have to run every first fucking down. Vanilla play calling. Open the motherfucker up. Let the fucking Bugatti out of the fucking garage. Let the Bugatti out of the fucking garage. The defense played lights out the fucking first half. Jimmy Chin, stand up. Stand the fuck up. We went to battle tonight and we lost by 3 fucking points.
Nope.
I'm very fucking positive about this fucking team. Very positive
he didn't
about
want
what
to
the
say
fuck
that.
is going on. Gregory
Because,
said,
well,
the
there's a few reasons.
the right QB for the fucking Carolina Panthers. Bro, just shut the fuck up, bro. You front running fucking bitch, bro. You a Kim K. Dick Duck motherfucker. You front running bitch, bro. Where were you
fuck
all
G-Baby,
last
man.
week?
He's a fucking bitch.
Come here, Gregory. Come here, girl. Come here. Man, you already know who the fuck it is. Everyone needs to fucking relax. On to the next fucking week. Let's get it.
He is crying.
Baby crying.
He is crying.
No
Look, man,
way
fuck
Chuba
that
Hubbard
shit.
had more.
No, you know what? Hey, seriously,
Sanders.
fuck that shit. You want to defend 153 fucking yards and what should have been a fucking touchdown? Bryce Young should have 6 fucking interceptions, 1 touchdown, and 3 fumbles right now. And penalties and fucking lucky bullshit is showing that he doesn't. So don't talk shit, G-Baby.
Hey, G-Baby.
All right?
Tell him.
Don't talk shit when he got fucking 70 yards and fucking garbage time to bring to 153 yards. The fucking truth. Shut the fuck up, man.
You can buy the G-Baby shirt. You make me fucking sick. CarolinaCatChronicles.com. You can also find the C3 coffee mug, the Pickles shirt, and the C3 Panthers podcast, and some old throwbacks are still out there.
Put in the bank is nice.
Here we go. We got 3 more calls to go.
Hey, C3 Podcast. This is Michael from Greenville, North Carolina.
Hey, buddy.
And, I just
good town.
Put my little emphasis on what I think about Bryce Young. We're talking about throwing receivers open. I don't know if we ever heard of other quarterbacks throwing other receivers open, and this might be a different take, meaning like, why is he got to throw him open? Just look at the wide receiver and throw it where he's at or where his
old
hand
lady's
is at,
asleep.
opposite to the receiver. So is it really the play calling? Is it the receivers not getting open, or is it a Bryce problem?
All of them.
So you're saying throwing a receiver open, but you're anticipating where this receiver is going to go instead of looking where he's going to go, if that makes sense, or looking where he's at. And as y'all saw in the game, well, you saw this game, the last game in preseason, where he overthrows receivers. I think this might be a combination of Bryce Young not being able to, I would say, throw it to the it's hard to explain because throwing a receiver open, like you're anticipating where he's going and he's not there, but you're not adjusting to throw it where he's already at. Because if you see with Patrick Mahomes or all the elite quarterbacks, they can throw it where they're at. I'm pretty sure they weren't making the same mistakes as Bryce Young is making. Also,
well, that was supposed to be a superpower.
These mistakes as C.J. Stroud and whatnot. And I know it's early, but it's been a long time. But was Cam Newton this bad? And he was the number 1 pick. Was he this bad?
Cam was lighting the shit up, but he was coming off a national.
It's different because we didn't trade up for him.
And I think it's a different side of the spectrum of
And Cam was electric for the first 5 years.
Anyway, keep pounding and let me know what y'all think.
Thanks, good call. I think the disappointing part is that Bryce isn't throwing the guys open. Whether or not that's because they're not open, they can't get open, all these different reasons. I think all of these things are factored in. I want to address this. DJ, that kid's 91 says, show me the plays where wide receivers are getting open, and I will blame it on Bryce.
I'll show them to you. Hit me up.
I think
it's Daddy on
I think the fact of just saying someone didn't play well doesn't. I think blame sounds like this is like we would have won if we didn't have Bryce. That's not. I don't think what we're. I think we're just saying this is Bryce didn't play great, And Bryce hasn't played fantastic just yet throughout his time. He hasn't been playing with confidence. And there have been plays where he left them on the field. There have been plays. There have been plays where it hasn't been his fault. There have been plays where the wide receivers aren't open. I think blame makes it sound like that's too easy of a thing out. I just think this is right now the number 1 draft pick, the guy that was supposed to be most pro ready, has had the least success out of the 3 quarterbacks that were drafted early on. And I don't even, maybe it's not helpful to compare him to CJ Stroud. Maybe it's not helpful to compare him to AR because they're in different teams, different situations. But we can say Bryce has, I bet you this, I think Bryce will be the first person to tell you that he thinks he can play and should be playing better than he has. So last 2 calls, they're shorter ones, and then we'll do our stuff and get out of here.
Hey man, this is Thomas, man. Long time.
Thank you.
But look, my issue is not even Bryce, man. Bryce is doing what any rookie quarterback would probably do. My whole issue is the fact that you traded so much to get him. And
That's what
these
you were
are the
talking about,
results.
Greg.
When you trade a package like that, you are referring to we're about to win right now. That's the whole aspect of it. The whole preseason, this vanilla play calling, all of this stuff that was going on. I'm just watching and looking like this is the same team, same play calling, same defensive scheme we've been running since the Matt Wu run. So I'm just it's just frustrating, man, because you traded so much to get Bryce, and I don't know, bro. I don't know, man.
That's why it hurts more.
Listen,
that's why it hurts more.
That's why it hurts more. But I also think it's also fair to look at this. What's the lens Greg's looking at this through is we could have had Anthony Richardson, right? We could have had CJ Stroud, right?
Well, maybe no. I'm actually, I honestly, if before you go in further to that, I would have rather not drafted a quarterback this year.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I think that would have been.
I would have rather not drafted a quarterback this year.
If you're
going to do it, go number 9 and pick up Williams or May next year.
But the thing is like there's no guarantee that number 1 that we're going to be in the running or they're going to even be good this year either, right? We thought, based on everything we saw from these 3 guys, like these were the guys, like these were like this was a good quarterback class. I think that most everybody believed that. The problem with comparing the rookies is like their best performances. Like if you look at their week 1 performances, they were both lackluster as well. Like Anthony Richardson wasn't like his stats might have looked better than Bryce Young. Bryce Young scored as well,
and they both played each other this week.
And so, but they played each other this week.
Shitty team on shitty team.
Shitty team on shitty team.
Right.
Not only just that means shitty defense on shitty defense.
Yeah, totally.
And so here's where I will concede. I will be more concerned if we face those same teams and we don't have a similar performance from Bryce. Then at that point in time, I'll be more.
We'll
concerned.
get to see it.
I can feel you on that.
Exactly. We play both teams this year.
We do play both those teams. And here's the thing: is the Jaguars won a playoff game last year, and the Texans actually the Texans were horrible last year.
Yeah.
So the Jaguars won a playoff game last year. The Saints and the Falcons were both horrible last year. So we're basing it off of what teams are better. We got to base it on the teams last year. The Jaguars were a playoff team last year.
I think it's fair to say Bryce has performed, has been the least productive out of all 3 to this point. I think that's fair. I don't think there's no buyer's remorse with me on this. It's just I want Bryce to improve from week to week, and he didn't improve from last week to this week.
And
Let's
also,
just put it that way.
By the way, my defense on the Colts defense, number 1, there's no evidence to say they're not shitty. Number 2 is they were ahead by like 3 or 4 touchdowns. And so CJ Stroud's numbers are going to be incredibly inflated by the
He hasn't thrown interceptions. He played a Ravens team, and he's put up passing.
I'm not defending the end of that. I stated that from the beginning. I'm not using Bryce's last.
It happens, and 384 is way more than 153. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
right. Well, but when you're down by 4
touchdowns, you're not even right. But no,
when you're down by 4 touchdowns in the first quarter, you're going to be passing the ball all the time, and they're going to be playing prevent defense the entire time. So you're going to be able to do a lot more with what you've got. The thing that's more concerning is the, you know, how did CJ Stroud, again, I didn't watch it. I'm just basing this off of what I saw from the stat or from the you know, the little ticker that goes across the bottom of the screen when you're watching games. But how did Stroud look? Did he look like he was that guy, or was it short passes that just
he's not that guy. He's had some really good looks. He's like Bryce. He's had some very good looks, but he's not that guy. I think he's played better than Bryce, but not like significantly better. Like
right,
yards
no
means things,
but they have been more productive.
Significantly better than Bryce.
Somebody
he's played
said
a good game.
It looks like an Atlanta fan. I might be wrong. DJ, that kid 91. He says he's had the least amount of help as well. Dude, I'll tell you this is that you can't to say that the Texans or the Colts have more talent. I think is nobody would have said that 3 weeks ago.
Oh, hell no.
Agreed.
You know, I mean, Jonathan Taylor ain't even playing for the Colts.
And
right?
to be fair, most of AR's talent, or excuse me, success is from his running game, which we don't care about that when it's Michael Vick or Anthony Richardson or Lamar Jackson or the guy from Arizona. What's his name? I can't remember. Kyler Murray. We don't complain about it when it's that. So we can't get mad when he's scoring multiple touchdowns a game on the ground because he's scoring touchdowns.
I don't think we need to be in the buyer's remorse comparison thing. I just think that these guys will always be linked. And it's pretty awesome that they all get to play each other this year.
Right.
Final call of the night.
This is Tim Estes. I was just calling to say I appreciate C3 for all they do. You guys are about the only thing that's Panther related that's worth watching right now.
Thank you.
Because this team sure as hell ain't. Bryce Young fucking sucks. Scott Fitter needs to be sent packing with his stupid fucking haircut. Keep pounding.
He does have a dumbass haircut. He looks like he's like a fifth grader. He's got a fifth grade haircut. All right. We're going to be here at 9:00 tonight. That's right. Tonight, 9:00. You can continue to call in at 252-228-5098. We want to get your thoughts. We'll go back, do some game rewatches. We'll have Cody Lack, hopefully, if he's not still out on the town. He might be getting married by the end of the night, for all we know. It's like The Hangover, and he's going to be married to a stripper before it's over. I hope that's the case. Guys, we got two last things, and then we'll get out of here real quick. We do the player of the game. Our player of the game used to be, this is the David Dato Balls Out Award right now. David Dato Ball Out Award, formerly known as the AKA Dab on Them Award. Your Ball Out Award tonight goes to who, CK?
My ball out. You know what? I'm not gonna go with the normal. I'm gonna go with Kruger Hill.
Oh, nice. Good one.
For coming in here on a shitty situation. Shaq Thompson going down. He came in. He got a really big third down sack that forced the punt. Big time player. He wasn't a liability from what I could tell this game. So I'm gonna give it to that guy.
Fantastic stuff. Greg, your David Dato Ball Out Award.
I will go with who's the defensive back? I keep wanting to say Cook, but it's not his name. The guy we just picked up last year, Xavier Woods.
Oh, Xavier Woods.
Yeah, I'm go Xavier Woods. Yeah,
the professor they call him.
And yes, I saw a few good plays from him. I didn't see anything he got burnt on or really bad, so I'll just give it to him.
Yeah,
there's not a lot to pick from.
My David Dato Ball Out Award goes to Amari Barno. Now he did nothing spectacular in this game, but the only time I saw he's on punt returns, or not punt returns, but on the punt defense when we're punting the ball.
Yeah.
And he's the first guy down there every time. And it's wild to see a dude wearing a 90 who has beat the whole. Remember, this guy is a defensive end who runs like a 4.4 or some shit like that. Something crazy. How fucking terrifying is it? One day he's going to get a free hit and it's going to be a wreck. He's going to wreck these motherfuckers and call it a touchdown. David Dato Ball Out Award goes to Amari Barno, a guy right now who is not going to get a lot of action in the rotation, so needs to make a statement on special teams, and he's a defensive end. He's more effective on special teams than Brian Burns was back in the day. So think about that. Amari Barno, David Dotto, ball out, brother. Now let's go to the Towel of Shame Award. This is where we call someone out, someone that needs to get it together. On the Tuesday night show, we do an ice up pick. Now that's different. This is a guy that we needed to play better. We'll go in the same order. CK, who did you want to be better tonight?
I'm not going to go with the easy ones. I'm going to go with Cade Mays.
Yeah, benched. Or I don't know if you would call it that. We don't know why, but yeah. Particularly for all those people telling us how much better he was than Brady Christensen and all of this in the background. Had a tough night out. Towel of Shame goes to CK's Towel of Shame goes to Cade Mays. Greg, who you got?
I have a big towel tonight. I got to go to 2 at least because I can't pick one, even though I like one way more than the other. But CJ Henderson and what's his name? Dante Johnson or DJ
Chark,
not Chark. The DB.
The one that got that was
Dante
inactive?
Jackson.
Dante Jackson, yeah.
Oh, on the double move.
Right now. Dante Jackson and CJ Henderson, man. I got to give it to them. They both got burned bad this game. They looked pretty bad. I'm usually a fan of one of these players, but like Jackson's my guy. But man, you got burnt bad tonight. So
I am going to give my towel of shame because it really it goes to Bryce Young. I just wanted him to play better. He didn't play great. But I am going with Off the Porch Podcast, who says towel of shame goes to the racist guy. Somebody said put his number out there and stuff. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to give people a platform anymore. I'm not going to lend towards badness or terrible people. And I don't know if this is the high road or anything like that, but here's the thing is his number will be blocked, right? That will be, but you know what is we're going to say this is we don't believe any of that here at the C3 Panthers podcast. Those are all antiquated views, people that speak and talk like that. And even antiquated is just a friendly way of saying fucking idiotic. Here's the thing is this is a place for fans to congregate. We are a place that's always said that all opinions are welcome. But when we mean all opinions are welcome, we mean football opinions. Right. Respect other people. And you know what? That just shows yourself. This shows how ignorant you are. But really, probably just how shitty you are. So to you goes towel of shame. No more platform to those people. No additional platform. My name's Tony Dunn. It's the C3 Panthers podcast post-game show. Tough night tonight, but we got through a lot of calls. But we're going to be back here at 9 p.m. tonight for this longest running Panthers podcast, the C3 Panthers podcast. We're here every Tuesday night, but you can find it on Spotify. You can find it on iTunes. You can find it on TuneIn, wherever you get your podcast. Go give us a subscribe, a download. Check out Carolina Cat Chronicles. There's some merch there. Don't forget our sponsors, calderalabs.com/C3, Manscaped, promo code Panthers. Follow me on Twitter at @cat_chronicles. CK, tremendous work on the intro. I love it. And I have to say I'm a fan of the other one, though.
What was that? Oh, the blooper one?
Yeah. It's not even, it's just epic. It's just awesome, guys. One day we're going to put it, we'll put it out there one day. Yeah, I do.
Why don't you play it?
I don't have it loaded up. We'll play it tomorrow night. Tease.
All right.
Tease. We got a blooper. Tony, by the way, if thank you off the porch for the kind words. Watch this. Is Tony's a guy you roll with to the party, man. If cops show up to the party, Tony's out running. Greg, how can they CK, thank you for that and all the hard work you put into the show. Thank you for the Madden simulation. You guys are fantastic. How can they follow you on Twitter?
You can get me at Codizzle Allen on the Twitter sphere. It's weird, man. It just seems like daily it's like 5-6 people we're following, and that's I know that seems like a small amount, but compared to where I started, I was trying to get to 100 when I first started doing this, and so now it's growing, and so yeah, show me, go out there, and you might see some things about my personal life, some things about football, and maybe some things about other things that have to do with gaming. But at the end of the day, Codizzle Allen is the name, and that's where you can find me.
Greg?
Yeah, man, you can find me at the Bat Daddy 52 on Twitter or X, excuse me. I really don't get on there much. I think I've been on there like once in the last 2 weeks. Like, it's just not my thing anymore. But I am starting up the GCS podcast again pretty soon. We've taken kind of the
summer off a little.
The school teacher break. Yeah, we're working school teacher hours. So we had some babies being born, and we had some busy work and vacations and all kinds of good stuff going on the last few weeks. So we've taken a few months off, but we're gonna come back on talking about Ahsoka, which is freaking phenomenal if you're a Star Wars fan. Absolutely amazing. All kinds of good stuff. Umbrella Academy, The Boys, everything. We cover all kinds of
new Boys out?
media.
No, that's not coming out for years, right?
Yeah,
Because
well,
of
it's
the
not coming out for
writer's
years.
strike?
I think in like 6 months it comes out. So it's not too bad.
Cool.
But yeah.
All right,
But we cover all
fantastic.
kinds of good stuff like that. So Friday nights live, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube. But we're coming back in probably 3 weeks or so.
All right, wonderful. Good stuff. A lot of interest there. Thank you for all the people that stayed up late to us. Look, 168 people. We had all over 300 tonight. Don't forget, smash the thumbs up button, subscribe. Guys, a little behind on the shorts replies to last Tuesday's show, but they're coming tomorrow. I'm hitting everybody up. Don't worry. I'm shorting it out. Tony's shorting out tonight. We're shorting out right now. Cody, you know what, CK? I always say this, Cody Lack, take us out, but can you take us out tonight?
Yeah, I can do the due diligence here. Let me get
I got the bumper. Just tell them
cool.
Until 9:00.
Yes, until literally 9:00 tonight. I have one thing to say to all you absolute legends. Keep pounding.